The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves to get.
The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves to get tell me how we can do it together. When we look at the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People said the bag of promises them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting high. I wonder when it all goes down, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them graves to get Chelsea.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right kind of stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to everyone in television land. Happy Thursday to our silent supporters. Happy Thursday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, really appreciate each and everyone's support. Hope everyone is having a wonderful end to the week. And hope you all have been productive within the week and everybody's doing well. Remember, guys, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can, and if you're new to the channel, please show some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. A special shout out to all our channel members and also to our moderators. Today's topic is Crippled by Sanctions with your host, Mystic Sensation, which is Baron and Anne-Marie. And we will not be joined by Melting Pot today. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Miss Johnson, Carla Evans, Doris McCoy, George Beckford, Patel Cruikshank, Karen, Jora Laverne, Marinda Ruddock, the Humble Lady Unstoppable, Faye, Rosalie Ricketts, Paulette MacArthur, Falmouth Girl 2, our channel member, Jan D, Antoinette Mary, Bev Grant, Pamela Okolo, another of our channel members. Bless up yourself, one love. Marvelyn Vernon and Obama Wolf. Bless up, welcome. Merlene Elliott, bless up. Without any delay, let me hand over to Baron.
Thank you, honey, for that wonderful presentation as always. Right? Never disappoint. Now, Jamaican people, let me say, Melting Pot, right? I know that you are, busy doing what you have to do, right? So bless up my brother, right? I know I will see you tomorrow. So melting pot, big up yourself, right? All right. So first and foremost, let me just, give a wonderful umbrella welcome to all my subscribers, right, and listeners locally and in the diaspora, right, who continue to give us the energy, right, and we do appreciate that, right. So an umbrella welcome to you all. Now, I am not the bearer of bad news, but we have to speak the truth. And we are here, and also you are here to hold government accountable. 2026 is definitely going to be the year of reckoning. A lot of changes are taking place, and not just only taking place in a timely manner, really taking place rapidly. And 2026, we are going to see a lot of things happen. A lot of transitions are going to be made, and so forth and so forth. We always talk about corruption, but we are now seeing, we are all witnessing, as a result of the high level of corruption, sanctions coming down from the United States, and a factor of things as it relates to the geopolitical atmosphere being heating up. So we have several factors unfolding simultaneously. So let me explain this, people. One, we have the United States, right, as it relates to the powerful and mighty dollar that the world has to trade under the powerful and mighty dollar. So the United States versus the BRICS. And let me say this to all of us, particularly in the Caribbean, that you have to calculate these geopolitical changes as it is happening right under your nose. On the top of the agenda as it relates to the geopolitical changes is the United States dollar versus the BRICS, and the BRICS gaining momentum and getting more powerful, United States concerned, right? And so, as it relates to the Down Road Doctrine being exercised by the United States, it simply means that we who are in the Caribbean have to now make a choice. The choice is clear as it relates to the United States administration. It's either you're going to support China or you're going to stay in line with the United States. So that is one of the factors. The other factor is corruption, right, that rig some Caribbean countries as drug transshipment, guns, and a lot of issues. The last time I was here, I make sure I show you the extradition treaty that Jamaica had with the United States. now that becomes a very serious situation. Don't you believe? And let me say this for people who want to, okay, let us not speak and let us not, assume that, okay, these are the things that are going to happen as it relates to geopolitical changes. You have to have the ability and the capacity and the tenacity to read the signs thereof. And this is why social media, right, is now making the edge as it relates to coming out before even mainstream media and speak what it is. So you're going to have social media who always lead out, right? Because social medias, they are not censored. That is the first thing. And remember, we as investigators who are in this space, we have been investigating a series of issues way before mainstream media. And we can direct a narrative that based on the foundation of facts. So when you come here on social media is always going to lead out that narrative. Mainstream media will be lagging behind. And for the progressive years to come, mainstream media is going to be totally deleted. People are taking their news item from social media, getting real facts, information that is not censored. You're not getting alternate reality to suit a political, right, narrative. Right? We here on social media, right, is leading that. You have some quite inspirational influencers in social media, right, that people are listening to. Powerful and bringing the information to the people. We have, of course, where I will not hesitate in saying, we have a partner, Draw TV, with Andre Stevens, right? Generate information, distribute accordingly, right? Doing their investigation and doing solid work out there. We can't deny that. Can't deny that. Right? We have Alonso, right? Man who fly the eagle, doing the same thing, generate information, fly it out, and so forth. Right? Mystic Sensation, Rattigan, Anna-Isabel Rose, right? Atta for the press, right? And you name it. Forgive me for those names who I haven't called out. Hot Topic, right? And many more are putting it out there, challenging the paste, right, as it relates to news information via investigation and putting it out there. So let me just break that down. Now, where am I going? Let us get into the meat of the matter and read to the fact that, and let me say this, and I want Jamaica to listen to me keenly. There are information that we are privy to that many people are not privy to. So when we say that an extradition file, right, consisted of seasoned senior politician members and police officers in the gazetted rank. Jamaica, let me say this, and I want to look you all in the eyes. It is no joke, right? And some of the sanctions that we have seen coming down from the United States, right, is a result of shaping Jamaica in line for obedience to follow the treaty that was signed between the United States and Jamaica as it relates to extradition. And no amount of diplomacy, right, political strategy being utilized where you are going to hurry to charge some people to avoid them not from being extradited. So we are calling out the Jamaica Labour Party administration on this. Let me say this. You expediting the charge for cross-carry and all those who you can charge, right? For them to avoid, right, the treaty, right, as it relates to extradition. It's not going to work. We are here in social media and we are going to update our people, right? It is for the Jamaica government to say, okay, all right, what you hear on Mystic Sensation or what you hear on Lonesome, right, and what you hear on Andre Stevenson or what you hear on other... Lie. Come out, speak of that nature as it relates to the subject matter that we are presenting here in social media. So far, you have not denied it, right? And so then the government, as it relates to the reason why we voted for them, is for transparency and good governance, not to suppress and suppress information, and in so doing, oppress Jamaican people. No. Jamaican people want to be in the limelight. We want to know that our government is honest, right? Transparency, and have what we call a moral compass. But obviously, we know that this administration, without any hesitation, it's a banana republic, right? And nothing, let me say this, we are getting some recent situations as it relates to, right, tax exemption and so forth and so forth. Let us not fool ourselves, Jamaica. Don't fool ourselves. This administration, Andrew Holness administration, will never move towards disciplining anyone. Even although you see that police rushing to investigate and so forth, those are just facade. Right? Yes. Just, to show a little face, not more. Facade. The government is a corrupted government. It's a banana republic. Kleptocratic to the nature. Right? And so then you have seen that political representatives who follow suit with the leader, right, doing the same thing. The Michelle Charles doing the same thing what her leader had done and currently being investigated for. And so then when we see tax exemption, remember, my Jamaican people, that Andrew Holness, right, has a case at the TAJ looking into in terms of, you understand, tax fraud. Andrew Holness has that. When we see a Big Mama coming out, right? Hey, come on. Big Mama being allowed, right, to consistently carry on such a debt, going over $1.4, $1.5 billion of government revenue and being allowed. So if Big Mama can be allowed and so active in this space, because Andrew Holness, right, also believe that he shouldn't pay tax, then Jamaican people, rest assured, nothing is not going to come out of it. Here, what we need to depend on. I heard some people making mention that, they don't want to see Andrew Holness being dragged out of government and Jamaica embarrassed. Hey! Are you serious? This is Mystic Sensation, opinion and perception as it relates to that. We did not tell Andrew Holness to do what he had done. When you sit in that office to represent us, you are to represent us using your moral compass. And when you decided that you are going to premeditatedly corrupted yourself and ask your subordinates to also corrupt themselves, then you think we are the ones now who left the burden to preserve brand Jamaica? Because no, the Prime Minister, I wouldn't like the Prime Minister to be dragged out of the country. And so then it will bring a toll on Jamaica. The Prime Minister's actions had already brought a toll on Jamaica. The Prime Minister is fighting with the criminal justice system. You don't see where that had brought a toll on Jamaica? Are you blind? Let me ask a question again. The Perception Corruption Index flagged Andrew Holness' administration, and they had lost 4 places downwards on the corruption index. Let me ask for those sympathizers who are sympathizing. You don't believe that on a national level that Andrew Holness had embarrassed Jamaica brand? And you are asking us to be mindful, be careful. We wouldn't want to see that. Right now, me run out of patient. Me run out of patient. Me can't wait. So, Mr. Donald Trump, 110% mystic sensation endorsing you, sir. Deals with the corruption, right? As you know how to deal with the corruption accordingly. And I support that 100%. And let me say this to Andrew Holness. I told you, that you are now swimming in a water, deep water. And you're not swimming with any life jacket. Bruce Golding cannot save you. And no narrative. Because majority of the Jamaican people already confirmed you and your government as a kleptocratic government. And we Jamaicans, we are not going to, allow you, as it relates to your sins, you and your cabinet, as it relates to the sins and corruption of your cabinet, that Jamaicans must feel the pressure and the sanction coming down from the United States because of your administration. So any Jamaicans who want to stand with the Andrew Holness, go ahead. Because what I'm going to read out now are some sanctions that bite in Jamaica as a result of the level of criminality. And let me say, for Bruce Golding who want to speak about Donald Trump, Honey and John, Donald Trump, basically dunce. That is what he basically said. I wouldn't mind Donald Trump here and step up the program. Right? Because we want him out of office. Yes. When you have someone not only robbing taxpayers' money, I want you to listen to me, Jamaica, but constitutionally deprived us from a true political leader. When you have someone who say that our vote don't count and did what he did in terms of sabotaging the truthfulness of the voters, particularly where his constituency is concerned, and thus have the situation with Paul Buchanan. That is despicable. That is despicable. So yes, I am singing for Donald Trump. Let me say this to Jamaica. Don't be naive that the geopolitical changes know where you stand. Let me point out something to all Jamaicans. You can say what you want to say about America and bash America. Let me ask you a question. The United States of America, do you realize that partially 3.8 million Jamaicans are in the diaspora? Let me ask you now a question. I'm going to make you decide something, make you understand, make you aware, make you become cognizant. The United States of America, regardless, we have good and bad times with the United States of America. But the United States of America allowed us in their country, and where we can build remittance and send back to Jamaica. Let me ask a question. How many Jamaicans are in China sending back remittance at home in comparison to the United States, where we have over $3.8 million, 3.8 million people, and providing a remittance threshold of over $3.8 billion per year? Let me ask a question. Are we getting that from China? Are we getting that from China? Make sure before, in terms of we making our decision, we protect our plate of food, you know, and we protect our generation to come. I am asking you, Jamaica, and let me say this and point you clearly to something. You notice that Trinidad was not listed. Let me talk to you, because it seems like, you understand, we lose our gearbox. Let me relax and talk to you. No one can tell me about geopolitics, you know. We study that. So then, look at all the advantages that we have. When we are in the United States, we are able to work in the United States, and we send billions in remittance that sustain the Jamaica economy for years. Had China done that? What are we doing? Had China done that? And so then, any benefits in terms of whatever we find, we have to align ourselves, right? And be smart, geopolitically smart, to know that United States over the many of years had provided a financial shelter for us. Provided a financial shelter for us. And rightly speaking, as it relates to the Caribbean, we have to make sure that the alignment is with the United States. So Trinidad and Tobago, I give you kudos. And see, you are not in the sanction because you jump out early out of the block and say, United States, me are defending. And the reason why me are defending United States because United States provided shelter for us. So where my political order stand is with United States. And we are stated loud and clear. Yes, we they state that loud and clear. So watch this. Let me juggle up. Put up the document on it. Make we show them some of the implications as it relates to Andrew Holness. Stand up in the middle. Claim same neutral. Being a prostitute between United States and China. That is going to hurt you. Andrew Holness, I am telling you, that is going to hurt you. But you know what? You know what, Andrew Holness? You are caught in the middle where you can't say China, you can't say USA, because you are sleeping in bed, serving yourself as a prostitute between two superpowers, where Donald Trump is saying to you, let me tell you what Donald Trump is saying to you and you are not reading. Is either you're left with the United States or you're right with China. And here what happened. I am going to show you where the power will. So this is what we are going to do now. Look at the first step. Sanctions. Look at this. Let me break it down for Jamaican people. Let me break it down. And where Jamaica need to understand certain things. And line up yourself, Andrew Holness. Because the extradition situation, right, is a different thing, you know. Where cross-carry and those who involved in the scamming and where that sort of behavior touch the United States Swiss system, you don't bother try to mix up this with what is happening, you understand, on the geopolitical front. And that is what Bruce Golding try to mix it up. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump, Bruce Golding. You think you can fool us? You understand? Let me tell you something. With 10 steps ahead of you, you know. Right? With 10 steps ahead of you, where that is concerned. Eh? So then, all you need to do in terms of understanding what is going on, right? Deal with the extradition that is on the DPP's desk. Because you have a memorandum of understanding between you and the United States. And we know what you are carrying on with in terms of proceeding to charge cross-carry and all those people. Want to tie them up in Jamaica court, right? In avoiding any extradition for them, right? We know what you are doing. Now, attorney claim family reunification targeted to stop place on immigrant visa application. So this is one of the sanctions, you know. What I tell yourself is straighten up. Straighten up yourself. This is one of the sanctions, you know. Now, the decision by the United States government to, as of January 21st, pause the processing of green card application from 75 countries, including Jamaica, is raising concern among Jamaicans in the diaspora, with Jamaican immigration attorneys arguing that the move will drag out efforts at family reunification by nationals of these countries. The U.S. Department of State announced yesterday that it was putting a pause on the processing of immigrant visa applications as a re-evaluation in a people of the process of screening applications take place. The State Department will use its long-standing authority to deem ineligible potential immigrants who will become a public charge on the United States and exploit the generosity of the American people. Stop right there. Stop right there. Time and time again, when we take in a reason with Rattigan and we listen to Rattigan utterances as it relates to United States geopolitics. And Rattigan and myself say that United States have no friends. They have interests. Let me repeat that. United States have no friends. They have interests. Now, take that away. So then, let us get to the next, where the Jamaican government, in acknowledgement of some of the sanctions coming out against Jamaica. If you notice, my Jamaican people, let me bring you up to speed. Trinidad and Tobago have not received such consequence. Why? They haven't received such consequence, such penalty, because they are fully in line with the United States policies and defending United States. Now, let us hear the acknowledgement of our government. All right, let us get to that. A second. Let us get to that. Right, so we can hear from the Jamaica government, right, acknowledging that yes, Jamaica is up against one of the sanctions, right? And so then Jamaica ought to know what is coming down in the pipeline, that any resistance that this government continue to show, any neutrality where Andrew only stand in the center between two world powers, stand between the center between the eagle and the dragon, and you are not showing that interest of moving to the left towards the eagle, and you are dead center, you don't want to move right towards the dragon. And the reason for that, while you are stagnant, let me tell the people, you will never be able to move either to the left, nor you will ever able to move either to the right. And you know why? Jamaica, Andrew Holness administration involved in high levels of corruption. You go against the left, you are going to get hooked. You go against the right, you are going to get hooked. So right now, Andrew Holness and your administration, I am telling you, you are a sitting duck. Sitting duck as a result of your corruption. You know what this is going to tell Jamaican people? It is telling Jamaican people that when you are a political head, it serves you the best interest not to be corrupted. When you are corrupted, and these countries have intelligence on you, as it relates to your level of corruption, you now becomes a puppet and a string. You are fully compromised, and then Jamaica's sovereignty is at risk. For those who don't want to speak, who in the intellectual community and keep shutting their mouth, the shit touch the fan. Play that next clip on it.
In nationwide news at this hour, the Foreign Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is on a list of countries hit with the suspension of U.S. immigrant visa processing.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Jamaica's Foreign Minister, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is one of 75 countries whose U.S. immigrant visa processing has been suspended indefinitely. The news, first reported by Fox News in the United States, has sent jitters through the local and diaspora communities. The State Department confirmed the visa suspensions on Wednesday, but did not explicitly name Jamaica. It says the indefinite pause will take place on January 21. Shalois Michael reports.
An immigrant visa is a document allowing foreign nationals to permanently live in the United States while they await the issuance of a green card. But the door has seemingly been closed on the dream held by many. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said it instructed consular officers to halt immigrant visa applications from 75 countries across the globe. It's the latest in a string of immigration crackdowns announced by the Trump administration. In a social media post, the State Department says it's aiming to pause the visa processing for immigrants who take welfare from the American people at unacceptable rates. It says the freeze will remain active until the U.S. can ensure that new immigrants will not extract wealth from Americans. The suspension will not apply to those seeking non-immigrant, temporary tourist or business visas. The full list of countries under the policy has not been officially released, but several media reports named 11 Caribbean countries among the 75, Jamaica being one of them. In a social media post, Senator Johnson Smith confirmed the news, but she says the pause does not affect visas for students, tourists, business, or visas which are part of the seasonal work programs. She says these continue to be processed at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. Minister Johnson Smith says the embassy will provide further clarity on the matter once they are able. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
In Nationwide News at
Well, so then if Jamaica play its politics right, Jamaica would be parallel with Trinidad and Tobago. But no, they choose not to play their politics right as a level of their corruption. Now, let me show you how serious this thing is. Without any delay on it, play this next clip and we're going to show you further sanctions that have been taken against Jamaica. Not only visas, a lot more sanctions coming down in the pipeline. Right? So let us look on this. Right? And here Andrew Holness' response. And I'm going to talk to him. Because as I said, Jamaica, that the shit touches the fan, and 2026 is definitely the year for it. Right? This one? No, the one before it. 2026 is the, let me send it back at the bottom. Okay, let me send it back at the bottom. 2026 is definitely the year for it. Right? And so then, let me just have you listen to his response, because what many people don't know, really and truly, is what is taking place behind the curtains. So here he is. Let us hear him. All right? So, Jamaica, we are in a predicament where that is concerned. We are definitely in a predicament.
As a strong unit is good in and of itself, no question. But having a strong family also gives you a strong economy. Yes, one of the challenges we are facing today.
Yes, Mr. Holness, you're right with that. Having a strong family, right? Build the backbone of an economy. Well, right now, you are destroying it. You are destroying it to the level of your corruption and the sanctions that we are now expect to face from the United States. You have exposed us in so many ways. Go ahead.
Is the lack of labor. There's a shortage of labor. I'm not yet seeing what the new labor statistics will say. Obviously, my own view is that there will be an impact on unemployment. Unemployment will rise as a result of the hurricane. But before that, we were experiencing the lowest levels of unemployment in Jamaica at about 4.3%. That's the lowest that's ever been in the history of Jamaica.
Now, these are the lies that you sow out there. The lies. And the blatant corruption of your extended arm, corrupting institutions like the PIOJ to sell in your political narrative. We should know what you have just said is lie. Now, Mr. Owens, based on the figure that you are reporting, that unemployment rate, partially 4.8%, then are you saying that 95.8% of Jamaicans are employed? Talk to the people now. We are telling you how deceitful and how corrupted you are. Are you saying that 95% of Jamaicans are fully employed? So then, okay, because United States really and truly don't have that. So then, are you saying that your economy is better than the United States? Your economy better than Trinidad and Tobago? Your economy better than Barbados? Your economy better than Cayman? These are the lies you shape. The lies, the victimization, the manipulation, the disinformation and the misinformation that you give people because you're a scammer. A lot of people, oh, Mystic, be careful. You are a scammer. You're a scammer. And so then you just can't act out of character. You have to stay in line with your character because you are indeed a scammer, jumping from Ponzi scheme to Ponzi scheme. Scamming investors. You're a scammer. You're a disgrace to Jamaica. You're despicable. And so then now, here you have now pulling Jamaica in the line of fire right between the crosshairs of the United States. You need to go. Go ahead.
Practically full employment. But I've never been convinced that there is still...
Jamaica, you hear him say it? Practically full employment. I know me say it, you know. This did not come out of my mouth, you know. He just said practically full employment. Jamaican people would suffer the amount of Jamaican people that suffer. Want to see that? Want to see that? Then if that is so, then why are we importing more than how we export? Where are the manufacturing companies to employ these people where you talk about? You understand your 95% employment. Right there. You're operating a service industry. Service industry. And we are in some of those service industries like the hotels. The majority of the money that they make not servicing the countries, not serving the country benefits. In terms of that money circulating in the economy. So what are you talking about? These are the lies. By you doing all of this, damaging brand Jamaica, embarrassing us, and in the same breath, extremely corrupted. Let us listen to you.
Not potential within the population and within the society to pull more persons into the labor force. And one of the complaints that we have been having is that, and we get it all the time, we just can't find good people to work. We just can't find productive, trained, skilled, competent, reliable people.
That's lie again. The Chinese government have bungled over your head because of what the Chinese government is doing for you into a quid pro quo situation. And so then the Chinese people, right, they have been prevented, protected, not from being paying taxes to the Jamaica. Many of them, you know that, Andrew Honest. You have given them so much privilege in Jamaica. Prime lands. And yet some of their entities, as it relates to construction, Chinese workers taking over them, taking over those construction sites, and Jamaicans being kicked out because of your corruption. And now you want to sell the narrative that, you know, we don't have any skilled workers. So Jamaica, when you see a lot of people as it relates to Chinese construction site in Jamaica, and you see majority Chinese working in those areas, well, we don't have skilled worker to work in those areas.
Majority of Jamaicans are employed, but yet
right?
they can't find skilled workers.
This is the lie you told. And as what wifey said, majority of employers, right, can't find qualified workers. If you say that you are up to 95% employment, so you see you're contradicting. You see how you're contradicting and lie, you're not realizing what you're saying. If we have 95% employment, then now we don't have the skilled workers. Oh, we don't have the skilled workers. Answer the question that to be Andrew Honest. Make it make sense. 95% employment as according to you, full employment. But yet, you are now talking about upskilling our labor force. Then if you have 95% employment, right, then you are so set in terms of what you're saying, upskilling our labor force. You only talk that, but you're not doing that. As I said, and I'm telling the Jamaican people, it is their high level of corruption that the Chinese government have over your head, that you need to employ their people. So Chinese provide a loan, where Jamaica taxpayers that you shoot them out of work, right? If you look somewhere else to try to pay back taxes, right? While you put this so-called skilled workers in call centers, service industry, the government lack the innovation as it relates to creating meaningful job, living income to sustain. Brain drain that you have created where many of our nurses running out, and I heard Christopher Tufton now want back nurses. Can you watch the irony now? Want to see the irony? You, Christopher Tufton, told the nurses that they can resign. You understand? Because caring for patients need to come first. And their budget to sustain themselves is secondary. You're out and bright. And while you, they make yourself good with taxpayers' money.
If they can sustain themselves, then can
right?
quality care them.
So let us listen to you. We are telling Jamaican people the power that China have over you. And at the same time, the reason why you can't move to the left, you can't move to the right. And so then judgment have to come on Jamaica. We are not going to take the burden and the pressure with you. And so then you need to extradite who you need to extradite. Right? And also, if you know the panic, just add your name on the list and go on. Let me play it.
To work. It is a constant theme across all sectors of the economy. And one of the things we are picking up is that it's not that there isn't the bodies to work. The challenge is that they just don't have the attitude for work. And
Hi! If they don't have the attitude for work, you know, just tell me a liar that 95% of persons employed, So then how can you have 95% of Jamaican people employed, but yet them don't have the attitude to work? Hold on. Why you does that make sense? If the Jamaican people don't have the attitude to work, as according to your figures and your layered figures from PIOJ, no 95% employment, almost full-scale employment, then how now in the same breath you are saying that they don't have the attitude for work? You listen to yourself? What you say really makes sense? No, me have to wonder, are you really educated, my brother? Because you don't sound educated to me. You sound like a big daft dunce. Or you don't understand what you say out of your mouth. But go on and listen to you. But go on and listen to you. And the Jaws Davis who claims him brilliant, you know. Eh? Jaws Davis, you know, dissect this. What am I say? Mr. Brilliance, you know, dissect this.
Part of that is just how they have grown up in their household. All of you here, you get up every morning, you take the bus, you do your hustle, you go to work, you follow that routine, you are consistent, you do your job, but that comes because of how you were parented, how you were taught about sacrifice, how you were taught about working for what you have, the values that were transmitted to you. I am not convinced.
So let me ask you a question, Andrew Ones. You were taught about working for what you have? Hey, look here. You remember come to this because I made that slide, you know. Were you taught that hard working is going to have you possess as it relates to the objective of the reason why you're working? Because when you sell to Jamaica, you know, that you take 2 taxis and becomes a billionaire, you're not a millionaire, you know. We can make that clear. You're a billionaire. 2 taxis. We're the sort of genius that you sell yourself as. No other Jamaican don't have the sort of geniusness where you are concerned. You know, you are the most genius of all persons in Jamaica. That where all any other brilliant mind would have able to use 2 taxis and maximize their wealth. Only Andrew Ones can do that. And let me tell you again, what else Andrew Ones can do. Between the period 2019 to 2020, honey, when it was the height of the pandemic, where many institutions lose profit, the genius that comes out of this genie bottle, I don't think there was a process of birth, but this genius that came from this genie bottle know how to maximize his profit during the height of the pandemic. When we look on where Andrew Ones maximized his wealth, Andrew Ones maximized his wealth between 2019 and 2020, right in the heart of the pandemic. Let me rest with you a while and take the caller here. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Go ahead, my brother.
Good evening, sir.
Blessing.
You know, one thing, you know, maybe I'm not on the subject what you're on right now, but you know, something is bothering me. This man, why is it him keep on going to his church in Portmore? Why can't go to film Adventist when wife and grow up in it? Because this man at Portmore is a wicked man, you know, sir.
Oh, yes.
Davis.
Yes, I agree with you, caller.
When can I go to film church Adventist? Because the Adventist man burn him out this man again, you know. Come on, evil.
Of course.
But because Davis have a film church, that's why I want to keep linking at Davis church. But if we can't talk about Davis and hypocrite self, you know.
Yes.
God, this man back up this nasty, wicked man, you know. And he's a disgrace.
Definitely a disgrace.
I put more, you know. Keep backing this man with the evil thing, you know. God is there to man Trump, man. Then Mr. Trump. put in their place.
All right.
That's all I can say, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your input.
And keep on doing on a good work, sir.
Thank you.
We suffer Jamaica, man. We are suffer too much. We are suffer, yeah.
All right.
Through this man, yeah. We are suffer through this man, man, and Davis, man.
Exactly.
And in church. We feel my church. You cannot go there because the Adventist people don't recognize him because he's an evil.
100%. If you want to put 10 on it, it's okay.
Oh my God, it's terrible, sir. Anyway, sir, we keep on doing good work, sir. We are here listening every night, every day.
All right.
My first call, but at the same time, this is about a bit too much more now, sir. It'll kill me.
All right. And I thank you for calling. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome, sir.
Blessings, my brother. All right. Yeah, man, when we get call like that, just build our energy. And of course, people are here because they want to hear the truth. Not the lies that shaped for the political narrative and those who are benefiting, eating out of the political trough like a Big Mama and George Davis. We soon touch them, I come on phone today, So I'm going to finish hearing.
That same value transmission is occurring at the level that is needed to support the economic growth that this country has a potential to achieve. So I do talk about the economics and the growth, but these things are also connected.
Let me say to you, Andrew Owners, Jamaica has the potential to grow because of the resources that we have. What's stopping Jamaica from growing, Andrew Owners? And you have said it. You have said it clearly. That corruption is one of the key factors that cripple growth in any society. Andrew Owners, you remember that you said this? Hear why this is significant, Andrew Owners. The Auditor General, I'm talking to you, Andrew Owners, is saying that under your administration, the bulk of the $3 trillion unaccounted for under your administration. And let me tell Jamaica, so Jamaica can better understand it. What your administration have done is giving out contracts, right? By passing procurement guidelines. Your administration, as it relates to the level of corruption that you have dealt with, we have seen numbers of what we call and describe as direct procurement. So people need to understand how $3 trillion unaccounted for. Through the means of what you call direct procurement and emergency procurement that you have utilized. And so then contracts are not being given out to tender, but to political choice, to create what we call political kickback. And you know that is the truth. That is where the money leaks through that gap. You have spoken clearly as it relates to how hypocritical you are, that you are going to formulate committee, task force committee to deal with the emergency relief. Let me ask you a question. Where is NARA? And how effective NARA is? Where is it? So, based on where we reach today, this is the dilemma what Jamaica people face with you, Andrew Owners. Receiving tons of aids, receiving millions of dollars, billions in Jamaica. The big question I'm asking you, Andrew Honest. From that time, as it relates to October 28th, the passing of Melissa, until as we speak, how many homes have you rebuilt as it relates to persons who are affected? Come out and talk to me. You're partially going 3 months. 3 months. But you and your evil. That okay, from providing that we can give them some PR, you understand, and push them and, you know. Listen to me. This is one of the reasons why Jamaica want to see you moved from out of the government. You are toxic. You know that you are corrupted. Who are defending you know that you are corrupted. As a result of your corruption, that it now, the Swiss system, you are now fully exposed to the FBI under their investigation. So if anybody now want to talk, let me talk. You are now fully exposed to the FBI under your level of corruption. And so then, yes, sanctions are applying to Jamaica. Let us show Jamaica another sanction that is applying. Take that away on it. We are giving the people the truth. We don't sugarcoat nothing around here. The truth, nothing but the truth that they are getting. Here is another sanction that Jamaica is getting, Andrew Honest. So if the Jamaica people want to stand up and suffer with you, that's their business. Right? So if the Jamaican people don't want to realize the danger that hangs over them head, their business, here's another sanction on you, Andrew Honest.
Across the United States, a quiet but powerful crackdown is unfolding on grocery store shelves. It's not just a matter of missing products or temporary shortages. This is a sweeping change that's affecting entire communities. In supermarkets from New York to Miami, the familiar sight of vibrant Jamaican food products is vanishing, leaving empty spaces where beloved flavors once stood. But the impact goes far beyond the aisles of the store. In kitchens across America, Jamaican American families are feeling the loss in deeply personal ways. For many, these foods are more than just ingredients. They are a connection to home, to family, and to a rich cultural heritage passed down through generations. The act of cooking together, sharing a meal, and celebrating traditions is now under threat, as key staples become harder and harder to find. The reason? A new FDA import alert and a sweeping agricultural protection rule have targeted over 20 staple Jamaican foods. These regulations, intended to protect American consumers, have had the unintended consequence of removing cherished items like ackee, callaloo, and Jamaican patties from the U.S. market. For small business owners and importers, the new rules mean stricter inspections, higher costs, and, in many cases, the inability to bring these products into the country at all. As a result, the international foods aisles in many American supermarkets are now eerily empty, with out-of-stock signs replacing the vibrant packaging of Jamaican favorites. By the year 2026, experts predict that these foods will be virtually impossible to find in the United States, cutting off a vital link for the Jamaican diaspora and food lovers alike. This is more than just a supply issue. It's a direct hit on cultural heritage. The disappearance of these foods threatens to erode the traditions, memories, and sense of identity that Jamaican cuisine brings to so many. As families gather around the dinner table, the absence of these beloved dishes is a stark reminder of what's at stake: the preservation of culture, community, and the flavors that tell the story of a people. The foods that have long been the backbone of Jamaican cuisine are now vanishing from shelves, not just in Jamaica, but in Caribbean communities around the world. These are not just ingredients, they are the heart and soul of family gatherings, Sunday dinners, and cherished traditions passed down through generations. The new bans and restrictions are sending shockwaves through the diaspora, leaving many to wonder, what will be left of our food culture if these staples disappear? Here's the shocking list of what's being banned, and why these changes are so devastating for those who rely on these foods for comfort, connection, and cultural identity. First on the list is fresh callaloo leaves. Callaloo is more than just a leafy green. It's a symbol of resilience and resourcefulness, a staple in Jamaican breakfasts, and the star of countless home-cooked meals. For many, the day doesn't start without a steaming bowl of callaloo, sautéed with onions, tomatoes, and Scotch bonnet peppers, served alongside fried dumplings or boiled green bananas. But now, fresh callaloo is prohibited from import due to a newly enforced zero-tolerance limit for a specific insect, even though this pest is not found in commercial farms. This means that even the most carefully grown, inspected, and packaged callaloo is being turned away at the border. The impact is immediate and deeply felt. Caribbean grocers are scrambling to find alternatives, and families are left with wilted substitutes that simply don't compare. The ban not only disrupts daily meals, but also threatens the livelihoods of small farmers who depend on callaloo exports to support their families. For the diaspora, it's a painful reminder of how fragile cultural connections can be when policies fail to consider the realities of traditional agriculture. Second, authentic unpasteurized Jamaican ginger beer is now banned. This isn't just any beverage, it's a fizzy, spicy, and slightly sweet drink that's been brewed in Jamaican homes for centuries, especially during holidays and celebrations. The traditional method relies on natural fermentation, which gives the drink its signature kick and complex flavor. But new regulations require all low-acid canned beverages to undergo thermal processing, a method that destroys the live cultures and unique taste of real ginger beer. As a result, only pasteurized, mass-produced versions are allowed, stripping away the authenticity and the health benefits that come from the original recipe. For many, this is more than a loss of flavor, it's a loss of heritage. The ban also hits small producers hardest, as they lack the resources to invest in expensive processing equipment. The result is a market flooded with bland imitations, while the true taste of Jamaican ginger beer becomes a distant memory. This change not only affects what's on the table, but also erodes the sense of pride and tradition that comes from making and sharing homemade ginger beer with friends and family. Third, specific varieties of Scotch bonnet peppers are now barred from import. These fiery, aromatic peppers are the soul of Jamaican cooking, lending their unmistakable heat and fruity flavor to jerk chicken, pepper sauces, and countless other dishes. The ban is based on concerns that the seeds could pose a risk as a potential invasive species, despite the fact that most peppers are shipped for immediate consumption and not for planting. This restriction has far-reaching consequences. Not only does it limit the availability of authentic Scotch bonnet peppers, but it also forces chefs and home cooks to use inferior substitutes that lack the same depth and complexity. The unique flavor profile of Scotch bonnet is irreplaceable, and its absence is keenly felt in every bite. For Jamaican farmers, the ban means lost income and wasted crops, while for consumers, it's another blow to the authenticity of their favorite foods. The decision also raises questions about the balance between environmental protection and cultural preservation, as policies designed to prevent ecological harm end up erasing vital elements of culinary heritage. Fourth, fresh ackee and brine, the only safe way to import this iconic fruit, now faces a total ban. Ackee is the national fruit of Jamaica and the star of the beloved dish, ackee and saltfish. The fruit must be carefully harvested and processed to remove toxins, and for years, strict regulations have ensured that only safe, brined ackee could be imported. But now, a disputed sampling method for measuring hypoglycin A levels has led authorities to deem all batches non-compliant, regardless of actual safety. This blanket ban has left shelves empty and devastated both consumers and producers. For many Jamaicans abroad, the taste of ackee is a direct link to home, a flavor that evokes memories of family breakfasts and festive gatherings. The loss of access to safe imported ackee is more than an inconvenience, it's a severing of cultural ties. Small businesses that specialize in importing and distributing ackee are struggling to survive, and farmers in Jamaica are left with unsellable crops. The ban also highlights the challenges of balancing food safety with cultural preservation, as overly cautious policies can end up doing more harm than good. Fifth, bulk, raw pimento, or allspice berries are now prohibited. Allspice is the secret ingredient in jerk seasoning, giving it that warm, complex flavor that defines Jamaican barbecue. Traditionally, cooks would buy whole pimento berries and grind them fresh, ensuring maximum aroma and potency. The new ban, justified by alleged phytosanitary concerns, means that only pre-ground, processed allspice is available, often with diminished flavor and questionable freshness. This change undermines the authenticity of jerk and other classic dishes, as the subtle nuances of freshly ground pimento are lost. For spice traders and small-scale importers, the ban is a major blow, cutting off a vital source of income and threatening the survival of traditional spice markets. The decision also reflects a broader trend of prioritizing industrial food safety standards over the needs and practices of small producers and consumers. For those who cherish the art of cooking from scratch, the loss of access to whole pimento berries is yet another erosion of culinary heritage. Sixth, fresh yams, such as yellow yam and St. Vincent yam, are now banned from non-certified farms. Yams are a cornerstone of Jamaican cuisine, featured in everything from hearty stews to Sunday roasts. They are celebrated for their earthy flavor, dense texture, and nutritional value. However, new regulations require farms to obtain costly certifications in order to export yams, a process that is out of reach for most small Jamaican farmers. As a result, the supply of fresh yams has dwindled, prices have soared, and many families can no longer afford this essential ingredient. The ban not only threatens the livelihoods of farmers, but also undermines food security and cultural continuity. For the Jamaican diaspora, the absence of real yams from family meals is a painful reminder of the barriers that separate them from their roots. The policy also raises questions about equity and access, as large agribusinesses are able to comply with certification requirements, while smallholders are left behind.
But I want to ask Anjona's administration something, because our Jamaican people are definitely hurting, and this is devastating to us. I want to know that Andrew Holness need to answer this. How long that they had gotten the extradition, right, as it relates to who listed to be extradited? How long have they have gotten the documentation? How long? Now, obviously, you have seen some serious situations coming down in the pipeline. And what people need to know, right, is the Andrew Holness administration that need to come out and speak on the persons who are listed to be extradited. The American society have taken SSL extremely serious. A lot of Americans being hurt and Jamaicans being hurt. You have hit the Swiss system. Your delay, right, cannot be that you are going to try to utilize strategy. Not wanting to extradite you, Croskery, Mark Croskery, and those people. That you willing to put Jamaicans under pressure to save your own ass because you are connected with them. We did not tell you to involve in what you have involved with. We did not get any benefit. As a matter of fact, where we stand today, you have pilfered from us. You have crippled our economy. For those who don't want to speak the truth about what is happening, Mystic Sensation is speaking it loud and clear. Right? And United States now start to view Jamaica as an item that causing pressure on their economy. Now let me say this, where people need to understand. How long Jamaica, answer this. Somebody can't talk to me. How long Jamaica has been dealing with in terms of those items that United States are now choosing to ban from their shelf. How long have we been, right, sending these items to the United States? These are a part of the items that help with our remittance, the generation of our remittance. It is fundamentally crippling to us and some of our local farmers who could now convert their product into US currency. It is also crippling for RADA. Jamaica need to come out and understand the ripple effect of this, and don't make some people who believe that, okay, all right, they are into the electoral space, they are going to shape the narrative, and we need to wait and see what is happening. We know that. We are reading the signs, and the signs are explicitly clear. So then let me say this. You think United States is telling, wait, United States had done what they had done in terms of their policy. They had executed the policy. They're not waiting, wanting to see if what? Are we not seeing that United States had executed the policy? Now, what you want to read from that? Are we silly that enough? Silly that we can't comprehend and process that? Again, let me ask. Have you seen Trinidad and Tobago involved in the Bangarang what they want? The geopolitical climate? Eh? No. Trinidad and Tobago stay clear. And so then, what is happening with some serious situation? It has to do with drugs. It has to do with corruption, money laundering, money that hit the Swiss system. It has to deal with several factors. It has to deal with Caribbean countries who are tying too much with China. Look, we can't go around it, and just hide it, and don't want to talk it, United States, let me say it to people, United States is not comfortable with China appearing to be dominating the Caribbean. No, they are not comfortable. It's their backyard as it relates to the Danro doctrine. It's their backyard. Am I lying? For people who understand geopolitics, right? I have my sophisticated friend in the chat, Lachlan, big up yourself. Now, so when we are talking about geopolitics, we are talking about what's coming down in the pipeline as a result of Jamaica being neutral. In that neutral thing there, you need to get in gear. Are you saying USA? Are you saying China? It's simple as that. Are you saying the mighty US dollar? Or are you saying that BRICS must now becomes dominant? United States have a problem with that. You don't see that? You don't see that? So then, you have to now play your cards properly. Play your cards properly. Because, plain and simple, ask yourself the question. How many, and I want every Jamaican to look into themselves in terms of what I'm saying to, today. Ask yourself this. How many Jamaicans are in China, doing business in China? Make a reason now, Jamaica. Coming already to touch corruption, make a reason that deal with the geopolitics that is definitely affecting us. But make a reason. We can put now common sense on the table. Right? How many Jamaicans are in China creating that sort of remittance flow? Ask yourself the question. how many Jamaicans are in China creating whatever remittance flow that they are to be created? Partially none. Partially none. Zero. 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 We can say all what we want to say about the United States, you know. But we could come now to the table. Let me ask, how many Jamaicans are in the United States creating that remittance flow? Do we want an economist to explain this to us? Eh? Yes, I would love to hear from Ralston Hyman, because Ralston Hyman is one of the best persons in the Caribbean. But do we have to hear from Ralston Hyman? This is something that we can decipher for ourselves. We can do the research. Now, when you research this in terms of what I am saying here, let me ask the question. How many Jamaicans, right, are creating what we call the remittance flow in the United States that benefiting Jamaica? Jamaica, let me give you the history. More than 3.8 million people. Partially more than what is in Jamaica as it relates to locally speaking. The diaspora is huge. So then, let us come to common sense. Let us reason to the political heads. Do you want to destroy that? If we destroy that, what is going to happen to us? We are going to sink worse than Haiti. Because if you notice Jamaica, the Haitian dollar versus the United States dollar is higher than Jamaica. So then, let me ask Andrew Holness and his administration who would try to, as a result, covering up their corruption. Look, Jamaica, let me warn you, Jamaica. I am warning you, Jamaica. I am warning the umbrella group of church. I am warning the civil society to make good sense prevail. I am warning the PSOJ to make good sense prevail and preserve Jamaica. You're talking about protecting the brand of Jamaica. You're talking about Jamaica. If you love Jamaica and you want to preserve Jamaica, let us say to Andrew Holness that enough of his corruption and what he needs to do for all the extradition, people who need to be extradited, release them and make them extradited. Don't try to mix and twist that, okay, Donald Trump want to break down Jamaica sovereignty. So Bruce Golding can't spin it another way there. There is a memorandum of understanding as it relates to the treaty. So United States is not in the wrong. And I am defending them on that. They are not in the wrong. So Bruce Golding and the Jamaica Labour Party administration don't twist this. Deals with the people who are to be extradited. And make sure that you drive Jamaica under the parallel umbrella of the United States of America. I am not asking that. United States have been there for us. In spite of many people will talk about things about Donald Trump. When Donald Trump is saying that United States give a lot of benefit, he's not lying. And we need to speak the truth. Jamaica is getting a lot of benefit from the United States. Vice versa. vice versa. And so then we have to understand geopolitics and how we play geopolitics. You giving China dominance in your backyard that seems to be an opposing threat to the United States is a problem. Don't tell me about that. It is indeed a problem. You don't think that? All right, let me show you that it is a problem. Why you think Russia is fighting Ukraine? I want for all those people who claim say they're smart, right? Them have the best brain, the best intellect. Let me ask you now a question. Why you think Russia is fighting Ukraine? Because Vladimir Putin, who is that giant in that region, watch Ukraine wanting to join NATO. And Vladimir Putin said under his dead body, he's not going to allow that to happen. He's not going to bring American influence near his region. And so then you have the Russian fighting the Ukraine for that very same reason. Make a shift to America. So then if Russia don't want that, want United States influence in that region, why is it that the United States now must accept Chinese influence and Russian influence in the region? You have to understand geopolitics. Understand geopolitics. Because this is where the box lies. This is where the box lies. So when Donald Trump said, you either left supporting the United States or you're right supporting China. And if you stand in the middle, you're going to get sanctions until you find a gear. Well, sir, that is exactly what is happening. You have been sanctioned to find a gear. Now, I'm going to show you something, Jamaica. I'm going to show you something. Now, where's my phone? Now, honey, let us show right this so that one can understand certain things. Now, let us delve in the criminality a bit. Okay, so we pass the time down. Go here, so. Lift up this. Jamaica, let me say something to you. And I want to speak to Jamaica. All of us. Right? Listen. Listen to me keenly. This situation, right, is extremely serious. And we have seen persons who they know better, but they choose not to do what is right, and what is morally acceptable. And because they are getting the benefits, they are defending Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness cannot be defended. Cannot. No way, shape, or form. When you listen to this, Jamaican people, play the clip.
I want to say something. We've had a discussion in our production meeting, listeners, viewers, about the person of the year for 2025. And we've settled on 4 candidates. I've been racking my mind, Tana, trying to find a woman to put in it, but we can't find one lady. I'm sorry. We try. And I don't want it to be a token woman.
Yeah,
Just
no
because.
tokenism.
No,
Yeah.
no, yeah. So we have 4 outstanding candidates.
Yeah.
The 4 outstanding candidates for the nationwide person of the year. Obviously, Daryl Wesley Vaz taking on JPS. The school bus.
Yeah.
Bus after bus after bus after bus. And his supporters will tell you that Daryl win the election, because of that win the election. I mean, they'll tell you that. But for the work he has done since he took charge of the energy transport portfolios, the work since Hurricane Beryl, and all the way through from that, I mean, for 2025, you'd be hard pressed to find a more effective cabinet minister or actor in the government halls than Daryl Wesley Vaz. So he's one candidate. Candidate 1, in no particular order. Candidate 2 has to be Andrew Michael Holness. Yeah? First JLP leader to win 3 terms. On course to be the longest serving prime minister. The pressure he came under, how he held his dignity in the face of a cascade of criticism daily. How offices of the state and men who staff the leadership halls of those offices tried to use the office to interfere with the election outcome, because there was an attempt made to make Andrew Holness so dirty and filthy that the Jamaicans would not want to touch him with a barge pole. And we all know which organization I'm speaking. I don't need to mention it by name. Yeah, it's one of the great crimes against the Jamaican democracy when a public office, publicly funded, can have men behaving so cravenly and trying to interfere in an election by making a politician, a prime minister at that, yeah, unelectable by virtue of taint and stain and scandal, yeah, no integrity. I'll say no more. So for obvious reasons, Holness for what he overcame and how he did it. Courage under fire, Holness, candidate number 2. Candidate number 3 has to be. Before this year, you would say that people underrated him. There's nobody underrating Horace Anthony Chang on this day in sports. He will never be underrated again. Another example of courage under fire, and a man who said, listen, decency can still win the day. You can still be decent and be effective. If you dip up on the people, the bag them out, the noise, and the irascible approach to politics and policy making and getting the job done. So Chang, for the number of elections he's won, we've said that many, many times. Yeah, peerless as a general secretary, national security minister. Yeah, 4, number 3 rather. And candidate 4 has to be Dr. Kevin Blake for what he has done with the JCF. And then there's a continuum, a line to draw between among Holness, Chang, and Blake for what we've seen where national security is concerned, especially where murder is concerned. So 4 candidates, we believe, for the nationwide.
Now, Jamaica people, that is more than despicable. That's what you call a national disgrace. Alternate reality. When you have someone who tried to tell you that black is white and white is black, when you have someone who's trying to tell you that evil is good and good is evil, listen what is happening here in Jamaica. Those persons as according to NNN choosing the top 4 persons. It's quite appalling. NNN today, as we know it, the criminals who they endorse, and particularly one of them, allowed NNN, Big Mama, to continue to rob the country's revenue. As we speak, Jamaica, Big Mama owe the country $1.4 billion Jamaican dollars, the country's revenue. You know what that could do? That could do several things. Likewise, who he chose to be one of the top 4, that man also robbing the country's revenue. When you look at these things and you see those who are speaking highly of this government, I want my people to ask one question, just one question. Are they benefiting awesomely from the government? And the answer is a big fat yes. What crippling about Big Mama $1.4 billion is to the fact that he had collected money from employees to pay over their contribution, particularly NHT, NIS, and he hasn't done so. And the government hugged him. But let me tell you something, Andrew Honest. Line up yourself to give Big Mama an award also. Just like how you're giving it to Christopher Tufton, because we know that you award criminals and wrongdoers. Let me just go to Sister P and take Sister P call. So line up yourself to give him an award. No, as a matter of fact, I am sorry because maybe you are not going to be around to give him an award. Let me say that. So I'm sorry. Maybe you are not going to be around to give him an award. All right, Sister P, go ahead.
Good afternoon to each and everyone.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Me there from class start, I'm ready to call it.
Yes.
But right now, I look so high to me, my stomach sick.
Where's the dry out?
Me Draws Davis. Me I look so smelling salt for Draws Davis.
Yes.
No, Draws Davis are people like Uno. Make this country still like how it is and going down the hill. You know why? Uno support everything with dirty. Uno no support nothing with good. No matter how you love a person or whatever, you must can call a spade a spade.
Exactly.
That is the reason why with Trump, we love Trump in some ways. Because when Trump say no matter how hard him soul add that him a go do.
Yes.
And when you know attack this and attack that, you know choose Jamaica and one man or anyone man bring down the whole entire nation. The man bring down the pity they were not born yet. One man, you know, and you know back him up. You know back him up within the foolishness. And now we people in the diaspora we work their heart out, snow high like a Mount Everest. And them have to go, they go work, we send them remittance here. I go feel it. People, the next thing when Trump come with, you have to be a doctor, nurse. That's what you can send a remittance here. And them are going to restrict it too. So how we going to kill we? You hear what me say? Nothing can go on fire and go send. You have to be a professional working at a prominent place. So you can send money come to Jamaica and them are going to limit you how much time, how much you can send. So you like how we could have called my friend and said, you want 20, I want 50, and you call one other friend and you give. That got tapped. Chua and Joe Michael Holness. I mean, say Holness. Let me tell you something, sir. To save the embarrassment, because people are saying, you know, look good if they come for you and move. So if you don't want nobody come for you, get the extradition. Don't make it end up like a doodoo's edit. When they can call the word extradition or whatever I name. Those are who need to go up. Just take the plane and go up, come on. That's nobody now to pick up nothing. Just missing in action. Because the longer no delay come like a handcuff, the longer no delay and the tight I go get. And Jamaican people, especially to us, we live below a crossroad. What we are going to do? Is that America are the only foreign? But from the day me born till now, America look about Jamaica in somewhere, some farm. America. Mr. Andrew Holness is the youngest prime minister Jamaica's ever seen. But here's the worst one. Through greed, sir. Look now, you have a big house up at the hill. You have motor vehicle. You have accounts with S or S's. And look how you feel. You can't talk like me now, sir. You can't sleep like me, sir. You can't use it, sir. Me don't want rich, sir. Mighty God, me don't want rich or no rich. We bring down the country and my people we get up and back you. Uncle Trump, Uncle Donald, I want you put some people, I want you monitor we good. And all of the people, when you know the right and a back hand you, when you come for every one of them. Because them are accessory to the fact. Right? We country turn coke then. We don't make coke at Jamaica. And more coke I go to with bad and more yam and banana. Hacking I go to the border, so coke. And Mr. Andrew Holness, you put out say 25 years, no 15 years for water gun. But you not tell me how much year for drugs. You not tell me. And when you not can tell we say crime gone down. Crime no gone down, sir. Murder flip. Gunman not kill nobody. The hungry gunman will kill people and the licensed gunman them. You let a police force where police come in your yard in a mass. I see no one part of Jamaica.
Yes.
But they head wrap up and they are a mass. So we don't know if they are police the true or who they are.
Yes.
And then they come on a special ops. You understand, sir?
Yes.
So when you say crime down and you tell the crime flip, the licensed gunman them are kill out people. So the next 10, 15 years, pick the top ban. Because all of the young man then gone. And Judge Davis. They say enough to pray for certain things. But any day, in liquor you do away, open nobody, you know. Because you and your boss coming like say, you don't have no family. You don't have nothing. Why not Andrew Holness make you like love Andrew Holness so? And me realize I'm not put out one narrative about Dr. Daz. And I know by university, but make sure you have no faction. Because this is one and nah good on so. Me don't know how as a radio station love call up people here and not talk about the facts. Oh, Christopher Tufton and him friend them I do. But jump on PMP. And what PMP do no so? What PMP people do no so? On a thief election, I do everything I still can't satisfy. But make I tell you, the cry of the mother, the wives, the sister, and children is upon her shoulder. I am not backing criminal, but no criminal now fight no gun pan the police and no bossy. And every one of them are the same style. All when the camera show no, you can buy a cherry chili and run come out. Like here, like when you say father come. And yet still he end up dead. How do you feel? You run out to the police like where you little bit and daddy come. And yet still he end up dead. And all you do, you go on like a book something. Kevin Blake. You ever look like glass? You ever look like glass? And say you're ugly? Sin the by you. And I heal back.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you, my sister. You understand?
Yeah.
Love the input, bud. All right, Sister P. Bless up yourself. All right, let me take the next call here. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Go ahead.
Bolo here.
Bolo, Wagwan.
What's up? Hey, big up for the breakdown of the geopolitical thing.
Yes.
On point.
Yes, my brother.
You know, the correlation between what the Russian president did for his defense of his country and what Trump is doing.
Yes.
If people need to look on it from that perspective.
Exactly.
The only thing we would say is the way how it's done, but I mean, when you're back against the wall based off how I go in the Caribbean, you might have to do something in it.
Well said, Bolo. I like what you put that.
The wrong Jamaica, the young arm of the governing JLP, with a bare-faced and disingenuous statement in the Gleaner.
Yes.
Is saying that Mr. Dr. Dawes called for independent oversight of the operations of the UHWI was a slap in the face of the intelligence of the Jamaican people, and confirming willingness to seek to squeeze political mileage out of any issue in the public domain, the group said in a statement on Wednesday. No, Mr. Byron and the viewers, herein lies the problem. How can they have the audacity to just stand up with no moral fiber and integrity and put out a statement like this?
That's it.
After what the Auditor General revealed.
Crazy.
$521 million. No procurement, brother.
And they are coming out
and
to
the man called
they are coming out right to be wrong and strong. Because what how you think, Bolo, how you think yes. But Bolo, how do you think that $3 trillion right unaccounted for? Under those same mechanism.
Exactly. Right? We have heard several times from him that, when he named the minister, Christopher Tufton, several times from him that, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Right?
Yes.
Now the thing, it gets us think now, you're going to create an oversight committee. Why should we trust the oversight committee that you created? And you are the head of the problem. Huh?
Then hold on.
We must trust you after years and years of this type of thing happening.
Hold on.
You think we don't remember the Market Me report that's come out a while ago?
All right. But Bolo, why didn't he created it when the Auditor General first came out and spoke about over $800 billion unaccounted for as it relates to the health sector? Why didn't he try to set that then?
You know why? Because the United States, they be upon them ass right now. That is why.
All right.
That is why.
Okay.
Because people now correlate the thing,
Exactly.
All of the travel advisory.
Yes.
The travel advisory have been speaking about the health sector,
Yeah.
United States citizens have come here and suffered.
Exactly.
Right, from this healthcare system, and that's a fact, that's on record.
Yeah, there you go.
That's in the newspaper, several different incidents, right? That's why the US tell them, say, yo, we'll come with our own health insurance in case we don't have to get fly out. Right? So this is the worst we have seen in the healthcare system and this type of travel advisory. The man is literally tearing down the institutions of this country. Down to a zero flat level, like 9/11 vibes. I saw the institution, them structure fall in terms of their reputation. Imagine the man tell the people them say, if you don't want to leave, you can go. That are the healthcare workers them.
Yes.
And look at him now. Please come home.
Can you imagine?
Huh? Overworked. The other day, Mr. Lambert Brown come and Jay Stevens and Colin Bell show. Overworked. The man work from Friday evening till Monday morning. People are, there has been reports of doctors that has fallen down and died on the job. Exhausted. What kind of government is this? Exactly. And the people, I have to blame the people. Right? Want to sit down too much on the need to come out. There's legal ways to get rid of this government. Mr. Will Rattigan have something named the Magnitsky Act, and I don't understand why we don't sign it yet. We need 10,000 signatures, right? So we can get to fight against the corruption and the human rights violations of Jamaica that the government is integrally a part of, causing indirectly and directly through action and inaction. The people need to stop talking about what is the PMP doing. It is time for you to march and stand up. This cannot continue. Right? What you're going to do, you're going to wait until it's your mother that suffers from the hands of the healthcare system. You're going to wait until it's your father. That's what you're going to wait on. You're going to wait until it's your child. You're going to wait on your child or mother or father when the police them come unalive somebody will come open the door and say, here I am. Next thing we know, he take up one gun from Anna one bucket. How comes they never put a handcuff on him? There's a myriad of issues in Jamaica.
Exactly.
Myriad. We only can stand on, but we need to be on the brother's keeper and stop being selfish. Right? And separate yourself from these people like a wrong arm of Jamaica. Separate yourself because God is going to judge them, you know. God is going to judge them very, very severely. Wait and you shall see. You go yourself, Mr. Byron and the wife. Go.
Bless up yourself, Bolo.
Well said.
And people, remember, you know, for go over and endorse Bolo. You know, say, Bolo one of the lieutenants, right, in the battlefield. So go over and endorse Bolo. Now, let me say this, right, as it relates to the recent development in terms of the geopolitical front. And where Andrew Holness came out and talking about, right, he has to try to protect Jamaica. You are not protecting Jamaica. You are exposing Jamaica, camouflaging behind the Jamaican people as it relates to hide your level of corruption. Let me say it plain and straight. And so then, in protecting Jamaica, you would have weighed the variables quite well. And you would have known very well that you shouldn't be leaning to the side as it relates to China. You ought to know that. That, of course, United States, right, absorb more than half of the population of people in Jamaica into their entity. China has not done that and will never do that. China will never do that. Right? So you have to look at it as it relates to how much remittance is important to the Jamaican people. Now, as according to the political spin as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party administration, right, Edmund Bartlett will always brag to say that, okay, the tourist industry is the biggest industry in Jamaica and it generates most of the foreign currency, right, in Jamaica, where blah, blah, blah. You're not going to malign us with your part truth and part lie. Yes, indeed, the tourism industry may be generating, right, most of the foreign currency, right? That is part true. But come full tilt with the truth. How many of the money being generated via tourism circulate in the Jamaican economy? Now we want you to have that conversation with the Jamaican. so that Jamaican can look on tourism for what it is and call it what it is. How many of Jamaicans are truly benefiting from tourism as it relates to the trickle-down positive effect when it comes to stakeholders? The hotel industry from time to time, right, sort of manipulating the economy, taking over the local trade, taking over accommodation, selling all the crafts, and so then the poor persons out there, as it relates to even the local craft market in Montego Bay, how much of the tourism pie being shared to them? Let us speak now, man. Let us speak as it relates to what the Jamaica Labour Party administration has been doing, aligned with the elites. Tourism, what that has done, reduce beach access to the Jamaican people. And where Andrew want to sell that in our politics, make it look like, okay, all right, at the point going into the general election, he was talking about beach access. Have you heard him talking about it now? Have you heard him talking about it? And this is the political trickery that him continue with. Just imagine how many Jamaicans suffer as it relates to the passage of Hurricane Melissa. And all now the Jamaican government is just PRing. They are going to futuristically making reference. We want to hear some past tense in terms of things that you have done. Why we can't get you speaking in the past tense? Why we can't get that? We are saying here we are today, right? January 15th. Moving away from Hurricane Melissa on October the 28th. Many homes have been damaged. A lot of people suffering. Is the country checking on the mental state of those people? Many of those people who are suffering. The mental lapses that is going on with them. Because really and truly, they have got no assistance from the government. The government abandoned them. And all what the government is doing whenever we rush the government, hurry up, run out on a platform. Oh yes, the government is dealing with this and this to happen and this to this and this to that and this to this and that. To future tense. Future tense. So I am asking the government, how many homes have you built for persons who had lost their house? How many roofs that you put back on for many of those persons who had lost their roof? How many situations that you have done or created to create resilience? How many? Speak in the past tense that yes, I did that. Not continue to speak in future tense. I am going to. As from October 28th, and you are going to. You're too much. That's why we are asked the extradition process must be proceed. And then you stop the two. All right, my caller. What say you?
Good afternoon to all on the chat. Good afternoon, Mystic and Mama Mystic. How are you?
Good afternoon, my lady. How are you doing?
Well, I'm well. Thanks for asking.
All right.
There's a list that we need to let Mr. Pinocchio Onis know.
Yes.
That no one takes credence in looking for bad for Jamaica. None of us. Everyone that is critiquing him constructively is asking him to change the course that he's on. Unfortunately, I don't think he has ears, only that his nose grows longer. For example, remittance. There was a warning prior to this happening from 2 years now that there's going to be a problem with remittance because the governments, we who in the diaspora, who's been sending money, they have noted the millions and trillions of dollars that has been leaving their country, first world country economy to our third world economy.
Yes.
And nobody take that up, even when the writing was on the wall. Now, we see the actions that is taken because the global economy is shrinking. There's contraction. Now, obviously, we don't have a good finance minister because if we had a foreign policy that was intact, we wouldn't be facing this now. Am I incorrect?
You're correct. You're correct.
Second, tourism. If those people last year, the year before that, backed up those tourists that backed up the workers that was, bring everything out in the open, what they were working for. Edmund Bartlett was in Parliament strutting like a big peacock and him been going around, as you were saying before, our tourism bringing in these billions of dollars. But to what cost of our citizens, our working class citizens? Peanuts.
Exactly.
Second, the hoteliers that he opened up to say foreign investors and these hoteliers, are they being taxed adequately or enough?
But let me just
bringing in revenue
hold
to
on.
our country?
My sister, let me just add something and strengthen your line of argument. Out of every dollar being utilized through tourism, US dollars, right? Utilized through the tourism, right? Is only 20 cents of that dollar stayed in Jamaica, 20 cents. Nothing more.
That's reproducible.
And,
that is like a reprobate.
And,
know what? Let me calm.
And guess what? Remember, as it relates to the 2024 budget shortfall, corporate taxes was a primary factor, And guess what? Many of them, those hoteliers, owe the government taxes, not paying it either. So go ahead. I'm just strengthening your argument.
And they are not held accountable.
No. Big Mama doesn't held accountable.
Look what Baha'i does. Just the passage of Melissa and closed down in car renovate when with the people them did and couldn't do anything. I mean, yes. I'm not gonna put a high five to Stuart, but what other alternative he has to, because he has other hotels that he had sent some of the workers, but at one cost.
Exactly.
To our working class people, when homeless now, when are no home, when them used to work for the same hotels. Exactly. Third, fourth, we deal with the revenue and the taxes as you have come. Crime is, periodic. When you talk about Venezuela and Maruta and the U.S. kidnapping him and all that, and the head of CORICOM, which was Mr. Pinocchio, didn't do anything, and now he's telling us he shut up because he wants to protect us. No, he's protecting himself and his cronies.
You got that right.
But he couldn't protect them because he's exposed from day one.
You got that right.
Melissa brings so much pain, but what it did, it exposed the nasty, dirty, all the things that was hidden and under the carpet in Jamaica by this government.
Exactly.
Food security. Food security, this is what I'm looking at. That man in COVID was in paper, if you can find it, Mystic.
Mm-hmm.
When in a big, in a backyard, so to plant backyard garden and stay inside and all the things he put on that facade and you do your vegetable garden. But are there any seeds?
Good question.
Are there any suckers like banana sucker, plantain sucker, breadfruit sucker? What is he talking about? Up to today, I can tell you, a lot of the people I called, because I usually, when I come home, I call St. Elizabeth with my family, and let me tell you something, me would I get sweet pepper and carrot and cabbage and thyme and scallion and then yellow yam and all the rest. You know what we are talking about. We get them to something the family member. There's none of that, that's not there. So what's going on with food security? That's what he needs to focus on.
Oh, that's very serious. All right. All right. Let me say something, sister. All right. All right. Glad to call, but you have other people that call, and I want to give them a chance as well. So stay with us. All right. Let me take this person call. Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. So I wonder if I lose him.
No, just
hello.
give it to me.
Yeah. See if we lose him.
Hello.
Okay. All right. Caller, you can call back now. I was just trying to take your call, and the lady who called just a while ago, wonderful input. Really thank you. Right. But I just opened the space to push in other caller as well, because we so close out. All right. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live. Please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
I can tell you something.
Yes.
I start to upset with Donald Trump.
Okay.
And the reason why I start to upset with him?
Yes.
Him taking too long to do what he have to do. We need to get rid of this kleptomaniac and despotic leader that we have done here.
No.
And the quicker they get rid of him, it will be good for Jamaica.
You sound like my twin.
This man,
You sound like my twin.
Amen. Amen. We have enough of this man. This man, too much generalship, too much racketeering, too much thieving, stealing, thefting, white collar, kleptomania, kleptocracy, that name all the word them when mean thief. Too much of it. And when them come, we beg them, please, carry the elbows too. And carry Christoph down too. You have three different terms, and Christoph can't finish the hospital. And every year it teething. Look what one at university again. Teething. Enough. We have enough. I don't care if any of my comrades friends want to vex with me, but please, Donald Trump, come get Andrew when this off our back. May I beg you. Please, sir. Please. And me God.
Thank you, my brother. Boy, what a man sound like my man. No, sir. I'm a twin brother, that. Yes, you have reached Mystic Sensation online. Go ahead. Yes. Carla, if you have a device in your background and you can turn it off, please do, because it's giving us a feedback.
Okay, Mystic.
All right.
Respect.
All right, my brother.
Big up Lady Mystic. Big up all the listeners on the program.
Blessings.
And big up to you as well, Sir Byron.
Yes, my brother.
I just have two little quick things to say because I know I line busy, yeah?
Yes.
The first thing what I want to say, yeah? The umbrella group of crosses, yeah? Them not stand the purpose in it.
What you call them? Call the name again for me. The definition is sound bad.
Of crosses.
Umbrella group of crosses.
Umbrella
Go ahead.
Group of crosses.
Go ahead.
Them not stand the purpose in our country. We need to get rid of them. PSOJ, them include with the Prime Minister and healthcare down the country. And I wish Donald Trump rake out a couple more of them. And not just the Crosby alone, We got a couple more there.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, we believe
That's
that.
my input, boss.
We know that. Thank you.
And thank you for the wonderful work you're doing, boss.
Blessings, my brother.
Yeah?
All right.
Blessed.
All right.
Let's up.
But, honey, when we look on the endorsement of NNN, right? And those people in NNN endorsing Andrew Holness to be, you know, one of the 4 so-called whatever.
But you know, they have to do that because they got 10 write-offs already for them.
Exactly.
For them parting of the corruption that is helping to sink Jamaica.
But indirectly, you know what they are also saying? Indirectly, this is what they are saying. So, Charles Davis, if you don't know that you are indirectly saying this, this is what you are saying. You are saying to Jamaican people that you are okay with a prime minister who is unable to have his statutory declaration certified. That is what you are endorsing. That is what you are endorsing. And I know if it was Mark Golding in that situation, you would have executed him publicly. Trust me. Let me just take this call and then get back to you. Your so-called Draws Davis. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation line. Go ahead.
Hello, Mystic.
Blessings, my brother.
Yes, I'm listening to you, and everything you say here is things that I've been saying to many of my friends in Jamaica for years.
Thank you.
And one of the short-sightedness that we have is that we don't realize the remittance that you talk about.
Yes.
I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Donald Trump is not on my favorite list at all, but he's a man of vision.
Yes.
What Donald knows is that a lot of this remittance that is sent back to Jamaica ends up in China. China is exporting and manufacturing and exporting a lot of things to Jamaica, selling it cheaply. So much of this money that is sent to Jamaica is used to buy Chinese product.
And you are very correct.
In the Chinese
Building the Chinese economy.
Sorry?
You're very correct because it is building the Chinese economy.
Yes, and we Jamaicans are not looking at things like these. We're not looking beyond our noses. Another thing I try to tell my friends down there is that how many homeowners do we have in China? I have heard of Jamaicans who have held political positions in the U.S., and I'm still listening to hear of one who holds an influential position in China.
It will never happen.
I've not heard of any. That's my little contribution, Mr. Mystic.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Trust me. Bye-bye. This caller put me on a different wavelength right now. Right? Because he just inject something in my brain. And let me ask this question. Right? When you look at how many Jamaicans who have business in the United States, trust me, right? Plenty Jamaicans have business, particularly New York, Florida, right? Miami and those places, right? So many Jamaicans have business. I don't think you know the damage that is exposing Jamaicans to, you know. I don't think he realize, and the PR thing is not going to save him. So when you come out and talk about you are protecting Jamaica by not speaking, by staying in the middle, you're not saying anything. It is a problem to the United States. It is a problem to the United States. Where your politics stand. Where your politics stand. Regardless of any persons, you understand, want to say, all right, certain things happen, this, yes, and blah, blah, blah. In spite of that, I am saying that United States facilitated us as it relates to many Jamaicans who live there, working there, have business there, and definitely creating the remittance flow. And when you put that to tourism, when you try to compare tourism versus remittance, that is wrong. Because indeed, even although tourism may generate 4.8 billion or 3.5 billion or whatever as a threshold, you can't compare it with the remittance. And why you cannot compare it? Let me teach you now. You cannot compare it for the very reason as it relates to the dollar being circulating in the country. So from a remittance flow coming into Jamaica, right? The little people them who take the money, they build them house. You understand, they pay for the taxi. You understand, they buy food on the road, they buy supermarket and so forth. And you see that chain of reaction supporting and circulating in the economy. What the tourism dollar is doing out of every single United States dollar, that being generated by tourism, 20 cents, being if you screw on ahead. Let me speak to Sister Pat again. Sister Pat, come in, my sister.
Evening, I something I forgot to tell you. You know, you hear.
Yes.
Remember time we are going to school and say, me I want song. If you ever hear, we got to go anywhere. Andrew Wellness, you saw you wicked, that rimple, and no one convicted criminal. You put in a committee if it per IC. You are do before you try to do better. You just rub them now with your son. You just rub only if you put that rimple per committee if IC committee.
Oh, Mr. Tony.
No, I have to ask you a question. That rimple with charge, convicted and charged.
Investigated by the IC.
Oh, one different.
IC. No.
Oh, it's a news I miss me.
No. How low you can go? Mr. Andrew Wellness, stand up one day and write down all of the members of your cabinet them. All of them, write down their name. And tell me which one of them not tainted. In a some way, shape, or form. A mistake I want to know too. I would like you, my request. Write down the member of the PMP from Mark Golding, go straight down. Andrew Wallace and Pin Cabinet. And you're going to do a roll call. And you're going to call name. And we the call are going to say, why accuse us? And you just write it down and stick it up and make we see.
All right.
Andrew Wallace, let me tell you, man, the more you wiggle, and the deeper you sink. And nothing in a what you in a other way you go around, you know, and the government and to make and this. The person or persons who advise you to do this, who is wicked, cruel, heartless, and disrespectful.
All right.
That rimple mama cow, the charge criminally. So how can you take a matter of fact, you shouldn't put him back in a cabinet. You put him back in there. And then you put him in a committee to oversee IC. No, talk it to Mark Jefferson Golden and the PMP. This cannot happen. You don't do enough to do in no powers. And I yield back.
Hi, sister. Thank you, Sister P. Right? But say as a result of Sister P talking that, at the first time hearing it, But since Sister P mentioned it, right? Again, now let me talk now. And that's what Sister P had said, right? Dalrymple found guilty.
Investigated by the IC itself.
Right? Investigated by the IC, Investigated by the IC and found guilty. People, hold on. Let me calm down. Unnecessary. The Prime Minister not have no morals. Unnecessary. The Prime Minister a criminal. Me not pretty it up, Over here, sir. Over here, I am a pretty unnecessary. Andrew Wellness is a criminal. Unnecessary. You can't see it. And for those who don't like when I speak, Under no circumstances, me can respect him. Because you know why? He no respect himself and no respect the office. And so then, the onus is not on me. Right? To respect him. And number one, I am not going to respect someone who, by the simple fact, can't explain him right. Now, let me say this categorically clear, and particularly may I push this over Draws Davis and Big Mama. Anybody who support criminal, anybody who endorse criminal, they themselves have to be criminal. Because you are endorsing criminals. And no matter how you want to put it up and spin it up and pretty it up, over this, endorse criminals. Yes. And so then when you see me on social media, you know, and let me say this again. Once again, let me say this. You have some of us on social media, right, who are making a difference to the world. Difference in speaking the truth and nothing but the truth. And you can't come tell me for someone who doesn't respect himself, respect the office, or respect the nation, that I must be polished in speaking about it. I must be politically correct in speaking about it. Him is a thief. Him is a criminal. Him is a scammer. Worse than the ordinary scammer. And the United States know that. They see you in Orland robbing investors. They see you in Cash Plus robbing investors. They see you in SSL and Darrell Vaz who managing the accounts for the Jamaica Labour Party robbing investors. And I always say, right? You went in directly, planned and organized with the criminal of the Ponzi scheme. Then let me ask you a question now, Andrew Holness. Why are you doing everything to protect them? Why are you doing everything now to protect them? I done my investigation and I know solidly that you knew that SSL wasn't licensed. Nigel Clark knew that SSL wasn't licensed. But yet you took the NIS money, put it into SSL. Knowing all of these facts, while Nigel Clark sits on the committee of the National Housing Trust. People don't think a joke. While they were doing that, pushing all of the money in there, Nigel Clark was on the oversight committee for National Housing Trust. And you see what you have done? You align yourself. No one said SSL no license. No one said SSL no register. And taxpayers' money, NHT. As a criminal, you are drawing down on NHT $11.8 billion. Since you have gone in there, you have gone over 100 billion Jamaican dollars. Then tell me now, Jamaica, can NHT stand up to the original mandate to provide homes for low-income people when the Prime Minister damaged NHT like that? Talk to me now, Jamaica. Talk to me now, Draws Davis. Talk to me now. Talk to me. Your Prime Minister, the man who honor, been taking $11.8 billion from NHT every year. The amount that he had taken over $108 billion cripple NHT in such a way that NHT cannot provide anymore for low-income earner and for those contributors who are contributing to NHT. It's a wickedness, it's a crisis, it's an evil. The man is 100% pure evil. And you all know that. But because what? Because you are living in the Judas mentality. You are living in the Barabbas mentality. You can't see what is right, what is morally right. You have all lost your moral compass. You are a virus. You become a disease to your own self. In due time, you become a pestilence on earth because you will be pursued and you will be processed accordingly. Now here you are. What is on your table is now an indictment to your stomach. It's like a vinegar you're drinking for water. The thorns are now placed on your head to deal with what the extradition present of you. And I'm telling you, we are supporting the United States of America, right? We are supporting the United States of America. And so then, as the previous caller said, right, you wouldn't mind that United States come now and move you. And if the United States does that, majority of Jamaicans stand in solidarity with the United States cleaning up corruption. When Donald Trump speaks about the drugs, it is not now. It is not only Donald Trump administration speaking about the drugs. Come on. For persons who follow me and follow my platform, Cuba flagged you. Cuba flagged you in 2009. Am I lying? Talk to me. During Bruce Golding's government, Cuba flagged you. Cuba said, it doesn't make sense as it relates to agreement to fight drugs. Because obviously, politicians and police, right, involved. That's from 2009, you know. From 2009, that, you know. I mean, I have the documents, you know. Yes, I have the documents. So then, don't come twist anything to show you how wicked these politicians are, particularly GLP, Bruce Golding. Are you me talk? You're coming out, want to spin something as if, okay, Jamaica must be on the alert because Donald Trump can come by night for Andrew Holness. No, Donald Trump don't need to come by night for Andrew Holness. Huh? No. All Donald Trump need to do, just send one ordinary representative to go to Parliament and tell him to come out. Ready? You go up, sir. That's all it needed. You don't need nothing like in preparation to Venezuela. Because Jamaica don't have what it takes. I mean, Andrew wants to brag about army and this and sophisticated. Yo, listen to me. Yo, you've got the foolishness. Stop the foolishness. Right? Now let me take the wonderful caller. Caller, you're on Mystic Sensation line. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Ah, you're right. See you in a man. You see it?
The only one thing I want to do is call up off my party because I don't know.
Yes. No, man.
They say a hopefuller is just as bad as a thief.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you couldn't do nothing when you have 14 members in the parliament.
Yes.
But now you have 28.
Yes.
Me don't hear from the party. I ask the question as to why Andrew take the NHT money put to SSL.
That's a good point because I haven't heard. I haven't heard that.
coffee board, or all the rest of money they want to take out taxpayers' money, put in a SSL.
Well, might be that we are talking about it now. That could be a part of the conversation going forward.
And the question must be asked as well, why you didn't put the money in the first place?
I think the question that need to be asked, right, because this question that I'm going to pose right now is a double-edged sword. What happened to the status of the money? Because that is important, to understand the level of criminality. And why I am going there, if Andrew Owen is able to say, okay, all right, the status of the money is safe, then the next question that I'm going to ask, why that money is safe and investors' money are not safe? Simply means that you're a part of the hierarchy of the criminal network. You see where I'm going?
But I understand. Well, yeah, but I understand mistake. Why?
Yeah.
Why you would do something like that? Why?
Look, let me talk to you. Since you asked the question, because me never tell you.
It's not like, you tell the country, say I invest the money in SSL.
No, let me answer you. You asked the question. Hold on, Rural. You asked a question. Let me answer you. That move, right? That they took the money from out of the various entities, the NIS, the NHT, and all other areas, were to steal the money. They use SSL as a medium to steal the money. Shore up the money to steal the money. Me not go around on corner. Them can't come out and say what me I say wrong, Them know so what me I say is correct, They use SSL as a medium. Because number one, they know that SSL wasn't doing that sort of trading. Them claims them a trade. SSL wasn't doing that. You understand? So them use SSL as a vehicle to steal the money. That's what they did.
Hold on a mistake. That $500 million we got from UA, right?
Yes.
Are those UA money or those are taxpayers' money?
No, come on. As it relates to that, that's automatically affect taxpayers, When you talk about in alignment with a company, you understand, to circumvent paying the taxes, you are directly robbing the country's revenue.
No,
What?
Well, sir.
That's what you're doing.
So the money use every avenue where they can find for thieving money. Are you going to tell me, say, no, basic, you are going to look for we, right?
Yes.
As the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, the Permanent Secretary in Finance, we are talking about finance now, right? You are going to tell me that our economy is running good and not good? We don't know, so no hard at the belly of the ship and the ship belly we sink.
Yeah, we don't listen to them, Don't come up and talk about all the crime down. We don't listen to them, You understand? I only present facts and tell the people who are listening to us. You understand the truth? And present the truth and present the information. You understand? I am not going to allow them, right, to pull my people down into the abyss. And that is what we are fighting here for: good governance.
Yeah. I'm not an artless person of mistake.
Yeah.
I'm artless, right?
Yeah.
Because there's someone I believe in helping the suffering and the poor and whatever. That is my mantra.
Yes.
But I like to see people suffer.
Exactly.
Right? But let's say good will have to suffer with the bad, not for the bad.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we don't know. For what the people are going through, and where they live, no one never go through.
And what to come. And what to come. Right? And it's sad.
We tell them before they vote, say, oh, the people that don't even know good. So and the people that still take the people that one night dinner and voting back the people in the country to kill them.
Right.
Hurricane Melissa come to Jamaica and although, well, I don't know. I must have that somewhere on next news. Right? Although they go and spend $1 out of the relief money will come for the people yet.
Talk everything no man. That we are talking about.
Last time we hear anything about it, never go to Parliament, never go to the cabinet are going to sign off on
Foolishness.
relief program.
Foolishness.
What kind of stupidness? You have some people at Jamaica have the audacity and talk about 1 p.m.
Well, them soon know for 1 p.m. Them soon know for 1 p.m.
All they want is a p.m.
Them soon know for 1 p.m. It's a matter of time. Time longer than a rope.
Well, no, sir. We could go and do it.
All right, my brother.
We're sorry for the people, but we're not sorry for them. So,
all right.
I don't say go.
All right.
We're sorry for who get caught up in the stupidness because I saw fool people.
Well, all right. So you hear it.
Take care of yourself here, sir.
Blessings, my brother Uriel. All right. So you hear it from my brother Uriel, and since brother Uriel brought up that, let us go get into that now, honey. Christopher Tufton, Trail of Corruption. We want to show Jamaica Christopher Tufton, Trail of Corruption. Right? Crazy. This is crazy. The amount of things that this man got away with. And on top of that, the Prime Minister gave him an award. Right? That he's doing so well in the healthcare. So well in the healthcare. Right? And at the same time, while the Prime Minister is saying that he's doing so well in the healthcare, you have travel advisory saying the opposite.
This is what you want to start with.
Yes. That makes sense? Now we can get into this here, my Jamaican people. Let us get into this. This is unbelievable. But we are getting there. Let me just, and I have to go through this. Yes. So Jamaican people, let me just bring up this information to you. Right? All right. That information is coming up. All right, so let us tune in with this. Come from down here, so. Oh, there you go. There it is. Yeah.
Okay. What does it say? Why? Okay. Sorry,
all
guys.
Right.
I'm not the one who loaded them, so it's not.
All right, that's coming up.
Ready?
Yeah.
The police fraud squad has been called in to probe a report that the University Hospital of the West Indies, UHWI, unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. The probe follows a damning report from the Auditor General, which found that the alleged inappropriate use of the UHWI's tax exemption status has resulted in tax revenue losses to the government, amounting to $23 million. Our sources say at least one of the 4 companies which the Auditor General says received tax-exempted supplies and equipment imported by the UHWI is owned by a prominent politician. More in this report from Hira Stewart.
The Auditor General's report detailing alleged unlawful conduct at the UHWI was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday afternoon. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis's office says customs records showed that items including office furniture, laundry, and medical equipment were declared to Jamaica Customs as hospital imports. But inventory records confirmed that the items were not acquired by the hospital. They were instead obtained by private entities. The Auditor General says the misrepresentation breached the Customs Act, resulting in over $20 million in unpaid import duties. The Auditor General noted that Section 209, subsection 1 of the Customs Act prohibits false declarations on customs documents, with violations subject to fines and prosecution. The Auditor General says, for example, UHWI used its tax exemption status to import laundry equipment valued at $28 million for an entity identified as Private Company 1. This action, the Auditor General says, caused revenue loss of $6.6 million, with UHWI paying the remaining import duties of $1.9 million. The Auditor General says similarly, UHWI facilitated the importation of office furniture and medical equipment valued at over $40 million for another 2 entities which were indemnified as Private Companies 2 and 3. This action, the Auditor General says, resulted in tax revenue losses to the Jamaican state of $10.7 million. It's understood that the entity which the Auditor General refers to as Private Company 1 is owned by a group of several business people. Private Company 2, which it alleged benefited from the unlawful use of UHWI's tax exemption status, is owned by a prominent politician. Up until recently, another senior politician was listed online as being a member of the board of directors of the company. The Auditor General's department also stated in its report that the UHWI also inappropriately used its tax exemption status to import 40 waste bins for a company which was identified as Private Company 4. The Auditor General says in its initial response dated August 2025, UHWI confirmed that it has ceased facilitating imports for private entities using its tax exemption status. According to the Auditor General, UHWI acknowledged that this practice violated public.
Yeah, before I comment on this, because there's a lot of things to say here, let me just have the caller speak to us. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation Live.
Yes, good evening to the Mystic viewer.
Blessings, my brother.
And good evening to the viewers. Hey, Mystic.
Yes.
I call and I say something to you already. I tell you, say, they're stealing the money. And let me tell you something, Mystic. You see, if Jamaica move forward,
yes,
we have to acknowledge where we are. You see, this problem that we keep having with Tufton and keep having with procurement, if people pay attention and notice, we're not getting sometimes the result or the feedback from the People's National Party. And this is not only with that, you know. You see these people, until we send them to prison, we will be doing the same thing over and over. We have caught Tufton on so many times doing this procurement, which is illegal, not providing evidence, nothing at all. And he's still sitting there. He's still sitting there and we don't know where we're going. But I want people to understand, you know. You remember Mystic back in the day when Seaga married everything?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, let me tell you what this Labour Party has learned, Mystic. You see the last time with FinSAC? You know why the international media was a part of FinSAC? For the simple reason that after FinSAC, the loan that we had, the Jamaica Labour Party defaulted on that loan. That's the only thing they have learned out of everything, you know. Why you think they maintain the reserve and pay back the loan?
That's the only reason these people is siphon off all the Jamaican money, and the Jamaican people sit down and not doing anything. We have gone in so much partnership. Remember, we had the airplane, and we gave it to Garden Bush Stewart as a venture. Remember, we have hotels, even though that's operating, that PSH are running hotels for Jamaica, and we're not getting any benefit. Right now, we have a water project because they have been trying for a long time to put the water in the hands of the private sector. We have a water project that is supposed to go on now, and they are putting it in the hand of the private sector, and nothing is coming out of it. When we have so many permanent secretaries that has run afoul of the law, basically, and they keep moving from one era to one era, and everywhere they go, you see the pattern, and nothing is happening.
Yes.
Nothing is happening. I know you don't see one member pull up one of them permanent secretary and say, listen, the statement for the end of the year, why is it not in? Why is it not in? Because the minister is a part of it. And we continue to have people who are not good enough for the job in the job. We have gone so far down the wicket now, Mystic, that even if we see something on camera, like we see a police shooting a man in cold blood, the people them have the nerve to come and tell me that's not what it is.
Alternate reality, my brother.
When you see so much procurement going awry, with no evidence and it look like corruption, and them telling us nothing is wrong and coming to vindicate themselves after even the court proved them wrong. That's because these people have gotten to a stage right now where they realize, listen, these people will not stand up. We can step in them neck. And we want to continue stepping them neck. The reason why Andrew is moving to print vouchers after the hurricane is because he knows that with vouchers, them can steal more money, them can have more money redirected to the same people 50, 60 times.
There you go.
We've seen it with solid waste
There you go.
movement.
There you go.
One company gets 50 at contract. One company. And we've seen it over and over, and nobody has drawn the line in the sand and said, listen, this must be dealt with. What is common, though, is that everybody talk about, we're going to set up a committee. We haven't done any result from the committee them that we set up. None. Nobody goes to prison, Mystic. Nobody goes to prison. And until there's an all-out shut it down, we're not going to go anywhere. And until Mark Holding realized too, that some of the things that we are fighting for, some of the same people in his party is against it. Because some of them benefit. And Andrew will go as far as you allow him to go. Every time something happens, Andrew do something to test the water. Right now, the people have not even realized. A lot of them got to sign up for needs. They got to sign up for needs. And even though the court says it's illegal, the PNP is hearing what's going on and they're not saying, no, stop it. And the court is not intervening either. So where are we going to go? And if we're optimistic or realistic people, we got to say this is where we are and this is what we need to do. But that's my 2 cents.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Really appreciate that input. Just listening to the caller a while ago, and you can just hear the sense of frustration coming out of him, right? You know that he's really a concerned Jamaican, and rightly so, as it relates to his concerns. When you look but I'm begging my Jamaican people to understand and wake up as it relates to what is happening around them, right? And unity is strength. Unity is strength. And when the people united, it becomes powerful. But the task that we have is for that unity. And we have seen that the Jamaica Labour Party spin machine do everything to try for us to be disorganized and not unite in our cause. Let me answer this call. Yes. Oh. Okay. All right. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Bolo again. You know,
yes,
I
Bolo.
understand the call of frustration, but that's something.
Yes.
The NIT in its original form was unconstitutional. It was
Yes.
taken to court and it was remedied. So
Yes.
the PMP did do something because in its original state, pretty much we would be under mandatory law to take it after some period of time. And if you didn't, you would have been charged hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Go and do the these are facts. So don't say that the PMP never do anything and they never stand against it.
Yes.
What the JLP is doing right now and the government is being very cheeky and tricky.
Mm-hmm.
They are indirectly trying and attempting to force the needs on people.
Yes.
And this disaster, they always hear them say they cannot waste a disaster.
Yeah.
But they're using this now to try and, you know, encourage, let's use the word encourage people that, yo, this is the best way, man. You know, take the needs, you know. But people need to be informed and understand that around the world, this digital ID thing, there's a lot of huge protests all over UK and all over Europe against this thing. That is not innuendo, that is a fact.
That's a fact.
And if you look from news outside of Jamaica,
you're right,
understand? So
yes.
The PMP has stood up for us when we didn't know that we needed anybody to stand up for us.
Yes.
We need to give them. The people of Jamaica, I say again, it is your time. You have the strongest power. Collectively, unite. You understand the message?
All right.
Stand against what you need to stand against and stand up
All right.
what you want for yourself.
Yes.
As a people collectively.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
That is my idea.
Yes. And I have to endorse what Bolo had just said, because we know that the People's National Party, right, they stood up and they fought for us, right, as it relates to several issues, right? And when it comes to, you know, constitutional reform, if the People's National Party did not stand up, trust me, Andrew Holness would have gotten his way, right? But they were there and they stood up, right? And they defended the people's interests. And they are still, you know, fighting and doing that. But having said that, you know, you can understand the level of frustration, right, from the caller, right, making his points. Right. And, you know, let me say this to Jamaica people. Rest assured that all what we are facing, right, is just a matter of time. Because something on the DPP's desk that they have to deal with. And no matter how them hold it, it is coming to light. No matter how them hold people, right, it is coming to light in terms of, right, that extradition. You know, we came out and we spoke about this. Now, you're going to tell me that the government doesn't hear anything? No. Yes. Yes, caller. Mystic Sensation here on the line. I was on the line.
How are you, sir?
I'm blessings, my brother.
Okay, I must recommend you for the job that you and that other guy do. I don't remember his name now.
Oh, Melting Pot. Melting Pot. And Lonesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was listening to the caller, the previous caller, with this frustration, and I have total input to say.
Yes.
First of all, the opposition is not strong as the as the people themselves. If the people them cannot get up and demonstrate, there's no powers in the opposition hands, right?
Oh yeah, agree with that.
Secondly, if the police and investigators in Jamaica can't put Andrew Holness and his cronies them to prison, this not gonna stop. Every day they get involved with the crookedness and the corruption. So how can Jamaica go forward? It's the poor innocent people is paying the price.
Oh yes.
And not until these people go, the police themselves are full of corruption. So how can the Prime Minister be arrested? This has to be stopped, and until the people demonstrate, I will go to the extent of burning down place to send a point.
Well,
That's my opinion.
yeah, we have to send a message in terms of, you know, peaceful demonstration. We don't want to, because here what happened. Well, let me explain to you, Carla. We don't want to instill the violence and then our innocent Jamaican people die in the process. We don't want that, right? And so then we have to be careful. We have to be careful in terms of coining our words, right? What we want peaceful demonstration, right? And I want you to stay in the context of that peaceful demonstration.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I apologize.
Okay, cool. Apologize. Your apology accepted. Yes.
Yeah. I won't jeopardize your program.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I've been living here in Canada.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm here, yeah. I'm
yes, go ahead.
In Canada.
Yes.
And I can understand why I'm here in Canada and see so much corruption, and the people in Jamaica are not seeing the corruption. I can understand why.
Well,
not until people go to prison. It's only in Jamaica this crap can take place. In Canada here, no MPs, no members of parliament or what have you can involve in corruption and don't go to prison.
And you're correct, because I'm also in Canada, so you're correct.
Exactly. And I'm really upset and frustrated with what's going on in Jamaica with the level of high corruption. And that is my 2 cents to you, Mr.
All
Mystic.
right. Thank you very much. You know, strong input there. All right, cool. Blessings. All right. For the other caller who called a while ago, you can call me back. Is this a call coming in? All right. So, you know, I am up on time, right? And so then let me just allow 10 minutes for persons to call in and we respond, right? So 10 minutes I'm allowing.
So you're going to get back to Tufton thing.
Right. I can't even finish the Tufton. So we will get back to the Chris Tufton thing tomorrow, right? But let me just take some calls and allow people to speak their truth, right?
Good evening.
Yes, caller. You're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Am I on the program now?
Yes, you're on the program. We call you back.
All right, okay. There were just a number of things that I want to highlight in terms of the perspective that you had raised. But I'd rather do that off air rather than on air, because I wonder if I could have a chat with you after.
Oh yes, you can. You can give me a call.
Yes, I'd rather not do it on air.
Okay.
And perhaps when we speak, you'll understand my sensitivity about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I respect that.
We'll call you back shortly after the show.
Yeah. So
all right.
mark this
Thank
number.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
mark this number.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. All right. Yes, sir.
Just answer the next one. I know what.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Yes, my sister. Bless up.
I just step in and catch you.
Ah.
Just step in. catch you. Okay, let me say my little piece quick.
Yes.
Now, Brother Baron.
Yes, my sister.
When you look at the situation in Jamaica, it can't be any worse right now. Tough time without anybody saying he must resign. If that don't come to his conscience that he must step down as the Minister of Health, then this man is worse than I don't know what to say. I'm on your program and I'm going to behave myself.
All right.
Because I want to describe them. But you know, you have to behave yourself, you know, to save your program.
Yes.
What does it take to tell him that he must resign? He must resign.
Yes.
And you must resign too. It's both of them in collusion with this money thieving thing happening in the parliament.
Yes.
There's more, but these two are more profound. You
Yes.
see, and verse 2, these three, excuse me, they are ringleaders. Look at the amount of money stolen between each of them. Between each of the three. Jamaica can't come to anything good with these people still being member of parliament and prime minister. The sign of bothering me. And I'm wondering, what is the people doing? People, did you realize that all those money they thief, you have to pay it back? Remember,
Every
there's
single
an
dollar.
IMF loan out there to be paid back. Remember again, 7% gone on electricity. How are you going to come to something good? And you sit and you take this while they get rich off your head. They have the money stuck away in all these kind of needs when they come up with for voucher business. Yes, that's how the money is going to go. And contracts and all of that. That's how the money is stolen. Right? Corruption, and nobody goes to jail. And we talk and we talk and we talk. What is going to happen, Jamaica? Is someone going to sit down and take this? I'm going to pay back all of these money and then the generation and generation down the line. We don't know nothing about their money our thief. They have the money. They must go to jail. Their asset must be seized. Their visas and their bank accounts frozen. It must freeze. They must stay right down there and pay the penalty of it. It's too much. Look what happened with UA. This is why the hospitals run down the way it did. Because all those money that is to spend back in the hospital, they steal it. Contracts. And the damn CEO, I got to talk about him and leave. I resign if I resign. What kind of leave? Resign. Resign. All of them must go to prison. A thief on a thief. Look how much of them think everybody just attacks her. I've never seen anything like this in any government. No, it's wrong. They must go to jail. People, what you waiting on for go out the road? When you never come to nothing down there, you think we're going to turn up here and help on the down there? All the time we're not beg. No, it don't now. All of those money is taxpayers' money. And they're going to laugh at you. When them go sit down and cock up them foot them and them friend. And laugh at you now. And easy like Sunday morning. Mr. Byron.
Yes.
You know, say the amount of money Andrew Holness get through donation from Melissa. He didn't even have to take a loan. He didn't have to take no loan, And the thief for them thief the money and the bad management, the chop with them chop, why they end up after be taking IMF loan. You don't need to. And I believe also with the 7% on the electricity, I believe that must roll back as well. It must roll back because until now I'm not convinced that $150 million that VAR said they loaned to JPS, I believe it is a way to stash money aside. That's what my conscience telling me. Yeah? That money is stashed aside. Because they lie and wicked and thief, and conniving, So they will say that they have to lend JPS money. Look on the big lie when telling a parliament. Look on the big lie when telling a parliament Tuesday. So who can believe Darrell Vaz now? People, when you not see what go on. If you can't stand up and say that and the damn ugly man knows say a lie, then who can you just him with the 150 million to say JPS loaned to JPS to carry on the line? No, I don't believe it. And more on all the other agencies. Come on, man, you don't do no work now.
Exactly.
You don't do no work now. That 150 million is stashed away because Jamaica only have 20%. The other companies each have 40%. How come now? Jamaica, who has less must pay so much money and the rest not pay no? People don't calculate it now, man. Jesus, please. That money stashed away, Mr. Barron. That money stashed away, put aside and lie to say they have to loan JPS $150 million so as to like to carry on. Because if the people them now no house, where them gonna get like? How them gonna get like and they not a house?
Well, let me say this.
No, sir.
Let me say this.
That 150 million, remember me tell you, I swear to God, that money is stashed away.
All right, but
that money is stashed away.
But bear in mind,
all right. Lie, Mattel. He's a liar. He's a thief too. Jesus, God, they call him thief. Yeah. Look how Andrew thief till him have gone into the supermarket. Me no business for AI. Him a thief all the chicken I put in him jacket. It represent your thief this, your thief that, your thief this, your thief that, and that it represent Andrew. And literally the chicken. It will show how damn thief you are.
All right.
Lastly, Mr. Barron, I come come off of your program. The gentleman, when name I forgot his name, I talk about say, because he sees that video, although AI, what am I gonna say? Anybody is found legally doing that to the Prime Minister 20 years. 20 years I know what. Andrew Wallace a thief, Vaz a thief. Me I call out their name, I don't care. And Tufton a thief. Oh, you know, talk about them to get 20 years? And that's how people can deliver themselves to say, okay, we're not thief. People don't say we're not thief and they're not getting arrested. And that's how they can voice their opinion. I thought they must go get 20 years. 20 years where? Huh? Go lock up Andrew, Vaz, and Tufton, and there's more. And there's more. Oh, you know, talk about we give them 20 years. Make I be myself by your program, Mr. Barron, because I will tell him what.
All right, Mrs. Star.
20 years. All right, thank you.
All right, Mrs. Star. All right.
But she raised a point, and I want to ask a question.
Yes.
Because everything they do is they want PR out of it.
Okay, I know.
Did anyone see on the news or anywhere any signing over ceremony of that money to GPS?
All right, hold on. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm sitting here and really enjoying and being educated to by a program. I'm a man who I call a couple of times, but I'm not such a regular person.
Okay.
It's just that, you know, sitting here and listening to all this, you know, that's happening in Jamaica. You know, I am calling from Georgia here.
Yes.
When you look at the thing, you know, son, there is a ring of corruption, which I don't know how we're going to cure that in Jamaica. You know, a couple of points I'd like to make, though. I heard Bolo, you know, talking about what the opposition did in terms of the NITs.
Yes.
And what you said about the constitutional reform and all that. That is so very true.
Yes.
But one of the things I'd like to see them ask, a couple of things I'd like to see them ask questions about are some stuff that is actually in the public sphere already. Like, for instance, the issue of the $1.4 billion worth of old bus.
Oh, yes. Agreed.
The country was promised that those would be in the country, I think, by the end of July.
Yes, you're correct. By the end of July last year.
Yes. And as to the best of my knowledge, only 60 of them have come in.
That is correct.
Initially, it was 110. Then all of a sudden, everybody's talking about 100.
Yes, that is correct.
However, things being as they are, I think the opposition has reason to raise these issues, both in public and in parliament. The man needs to explain where the other 50 buses are, or where is the money for it. Just last week I heard him talking about parents need to go online and register their children to some sort of ID to travel on the buses. Does he realize that the vast majority of the disenfranchised kids who suffer from the transport problem, that these kids, their parents in most cases don't have no access to internet?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases now, some people don't even have electricity. So why him coming with this now? I mean, the PNP had a good plan. Employ the local transport people who qualify. This man, the people, let me tell you, at the top of the administration, it seems to me that everybody there is a crook. So nobody can castigate the other. Because if me call your name, you have reason to call mine. So that is the corruption is actually the protective shield that they use to shelter themselves from each other. Nobody can call anybody's name. You see this thing up at the University of the West Indies now, $521 million, that's over $500 million gone. And Mr. Tufton, when come talk about set up some internal committee to investigate.
Which is going to cost taxpayer more money.
Exactly. Everything that
and we're not going to hear nothing from it, as usual.
Their friends to form committees, and then sit down and drink all kind of whiskey and coffee and eat expensive lunches and things at taxpayers' expense. And at the end of the day, you don't hear any outcome.
But my caller, when you're talking about farming committee, when Andrew Holness, right, use a thieving puss like Dalrymple and place her on the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee, does Andrew Holness have an awareness of the committee that is putting Dalrymple on? It says integrity. Integrity.
Yes.
So then someone who convicted of a criminal act and the persons, hold on the caller, and the persons who investigated her and put her in the judiciary and convicted her. This is how petty this prime minister is, because he knows he's a corruption. He's so corrupted.
It's retribution for what happened, so she can oversight.
You understand?
And give oversight to them.
Exactly. So he did not like, as it relates to Dalrymple outcome. So this now serve up as a retribution now for Dalrymple, who investigated by these persons who put her in the judiciary. Dalrymple is going to provide oversight. You know, say Andrew Holness is a criminal. Him is a plain criminal, you know. Sorry to cut in on your arm, caller. Right? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Something happened there. I got cut off.
Yes. I have to come in and say something, because you tell me. On which part of the aisle you stand as it comes to moral, your moral compass, where your moral compass there? You put in Dalrymple on the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee, tell every Jamaican that you're a criminal. That's what it means. That's what this is what you are telling Jamaica, that you are a criminal.
Yes.
And you endorse criminality. And look here. You have some people who don't want you to speak like this, you know. You have some people want us to now be politically correct, you know. You have some people now they say, you understand, we too outlawish and we too this and we too that. Hey, listen me. You see to them and those, I don't want to really disrespect people like that, you know. But when you have the Prime Minister himself, don't respect himself and don't respect the office.
To me, that is a direct slap in the face of every Jamaican.
Okay, speak, my brother. Speak.
It is an indication that criminality run the place.
That's what he's saying. The normalization of criminality.
Yes. How can you have a confessed criminal being on an oversight committee to the Integrity Commission?
Maybe he doesn't know what it means. Look, we never talk about, right? You want to create a committee, you understand, that protect criminal, you know. It has nothing to do with that, you know. We are talking about the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. It has to do with the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. So how Darren plus a criminal depend it?
I think it is an affront to the members of the Integrity Commission. It is an insult.
Yep.
And a slap. And I don't.
Exactly.
I think that there ought to be people within Jamaica, because I know
Man, thief out of this, man.
People need to take that in hand, sir. And I think, I don't know, you see what I see now, I see this man forcing certain issues wherein I think he's provoking the members of the opposition to incite some sort of civil disturbance and can get to lock them up.
Exactly.
I see that. So when I hear people coming out and ask about what Mark Golding and what the opposition do, they can only address the issues that are presented to them. They can't go out the street, go tell people, say, go demonstrate.
Yes, and you are correct. I want you to repeat that, you know. I want you to repeat that in terms of people who believe that, okay, all right. You know, because you have some people who, you know, are just in certain situation and saying that the opposition can do this and the opposition can do that. People need to understand, right, the context of which you understand the opposition can act. And to me, let me say this, I believe the opposition is doing a fine job. I heard what's your name? Dion Jackson Miller, right? Talking about, well, I mean, listen, Dion is quite professional, and I'm not going to be disrespectful where Dion is concerned. But, you know, as for me, I beg to differ, right? Because number one, I think particularly where it comes to the performance in the general election, the fuck of the matter, right? You have to understand the impact that the Jamaica Labour Party caused in terms of not having a free and fair general election. And so then when you are arguing, you have to factor that as a fundamental point, right? So you can't say, well, all right, the People's National Party, right, did not do this. The People's National Party had done what they had to done. And we have shown evidence of the crime committed, right? So the election wasn't free and fair. So how am I? I can't be contradicting that. And I can't be twisting that. Because if I am going to say, okay, the Jamaica Labour Party administration steal the election, which they did, they stole the election. I cannot be saying again and accusing people of voting and blah, blah, blah. I can't be doing, I'll be a twisted record. So it's either I'm going to take one track, and the track that I'm taking, Jamaica Labour Party stole the election, and them know.
They know it.
Okay.
And it's because of that I really don't don't condemn the Jamaican people on the issue of how they voted.
Yes.
Because I really do believe, and there's evidence here too, where we see on YouTube and evidence that is even presented in court.
All right.
Deception and the thievery that went on. Up to now, I don't think that seat in West Central St. Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the only seat that was in.
No.
Look at the one.
No. I can tell you, Bobby Montague steal the election, but what political thing going on with Bobby Montague?
And the one in Central Kingston.
Exactly. And Central Kingston.
So the only thing that I really want to see the opposition, not say the only thing, but one of the main things that I would like to see them doing is that issues like these, for instance, the fraudulent behavior of Dewey, the fraudulent behavior of the billion-dollar bus thing.
Yes.
You know, press the issues. Don't stop raising it. Because up to now, that man hasn't come up with any plausible looking, explanation.
Exactly.
To show that he paid this or that for the buses.
Exactly. And
we don't see that, and it needs to come to the fore. We can't allow these guys. If you look at it, sir, it's just about 3, 4, or maybe 5 people at the top. And if you notice, these are the people who are always talking on behalf of this, on behalf of that, as leaders of the group. And I think that, as Mr. Boulding says, hot off of the press uses it in her course. If the head of the stream is corrupt, river going to be dirty right down to
all right. There you go, my brother. There you go.
And I soon be going home. I'll go home and spend a little time in my yard. But, brother, it's a critical situation. Mr. G, next birthday I will be 75 years old,
Yes.
And I have lived through
my
first experience of election.
All right. Let me run left you now because I'm going to take a next caller because I'm going to have to close out for more and put in someone else. All right. Blessings, my brother. Okay. Your blessings. All right. Let me call about this. Oh, okay. Yes, caller, you're on Mystic Sensation. All right, blessings, my brother.
Good evening to your lovely wife.
Blessings.
Yes, sir. So that's taking for everybody as saying, and listening.
Yes.
As Peter touched with that rightly say, normally though, only the poor man are feeling.
Oh yes,
because
true.
This is corruption to the highest level.
Oh yes.
Touch right.
Oh yes.
And I hit me and try to tell all poor people, say, but they not pay attention. Say, look, no matter what happens, and no matter how it go down, and you as I get the messy end of the stick. So we all have to work together. But some of we hit hard. Some of we politics tell we crazy.
Lord.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because don't tell me say a small country like Jamaica, really we can't find no money in the country of integrity. We can't handle the business like what it's supposed to be done. Who for go prison? Go prison. But this man, Andrew Wallace, him is a very blatant man, a very rude man, and very disrespectful. And him betting on the people stupidity all the while saying can't carry off in mission. Because this is supposed to allow women, you shouldn't even qualify for running in the first place because the man have so much things legally to deal with. You shouldn't even be on the ballot in the first place. But when the diary tell us, look, in a bad man terms, I'm here run things, I'm do as my feet.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Jamaican people are taking, and that he must say, So we are saying we're growing the corner and growing the corner. The fact is supposed to let.
But hold on the caller. So when you behave like this, and I tell you, say we have to take it or leave it. Why we need to sorry for him? You understand? And don't want Donald Trump to come and drag him out of office. He needs to be embarrassed.
There is no sympathy there. I mean, right now, the US should have even, because the US know who this man is from day one. So the US should have even eventually just send FEMA already. And we gladly give him up because he's not ready to us. Everybody is robust because only growth we get in Jamaica, only growth is the man and him father criminal behind him. That's the only growth. Me say, they might only people get pocket fat because when they come to report, and yet they all fat now.
Mm-hmm.
So what growth? The country growth or them growth?
Oh Jesus.
When it's not growing in the country.
Them no grow, man. Them ballooned. Them overly ballooned.
At them alone, I mean, Michael Malley put in housing just for it. And the man they rape it, pillage it, like worse than Henry Morgan.
$11.4 billion every year. Vicious.
I mean, Jamaica, man tell me we have good people, you know, we have man like our royal traits. We could have more than be commissioner.
Of course.
Proper man with integrity.
Ron James is a decent police officer. Decent police officer with integrity.
Yes, we have people like those. Yeah. And the integrity commissioner need to do them work. They need to do them work.
Mm-hmm.
Because these men are run the thing like a them personal thing. I said, we do as me feel like, no, we need to let them know because every poor people in Jamaica right now, we know not listen to them should be concerned because of you are feeling at the end of the day. So you have to definitely stand up and know that this is where I live,
yes.
This is where I breathe, this is where I eat. And we're not going to allow a few little man to mess it up. We can't allow that. This man don't have no leadership quality, not even little bit.
Yes.
People talk about leader. You don't have not even the first sign of being a leader. As a Michael Malley would have rightly said, arrogance, have no room for that. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna look on it, Peter say it right. Only the poor man are feeling, and if we poor people are looking into it and decide to get rid of this man needs to go. Illegally, and in stole election because I was the first guy who called it out. And if it was for me, this man wouldn't even be in a politics, be in a power for the first. Now, for the education minister, I tell the people, them say, look, the man is a corrupted man. I say, no, man, why you say that, man? Would educate me? I say, look. I said, the man, a couple of years back, I brother come check me. I say, yo, how you didn't know me? I say, something I can't see people from a distance, man. If it was to me, we wouldn't get nowhere. Evil, man. Yeah, man. So anyway, Mr. Mystic.
Bless up.
Doing a good job. You love the
bless up, brother.
Good one.
All right, blessings.
Thank you.
All right, my wonderful brothers and sisters. Right, we have to come to an end of the program, and let me say, unfortunately, I'm supposed to be on the Titan later, but unfortunately, I will not be because I will be attending my son. Right, music thing.
Band concert.
What do you call it?
Band concert.
Band concert. So I have to attend his band concert. If I don't go to his band concert, a problem, right? And me no want wifey have my head in the girls neither. So I will be there, at his band concert. But I want to say, thanks to all subscribers, thanks to all the people who continue to follow Mystic Sensation. And we are not going to stop, fight the fight, right, until we see Jamaica for what it is. Jamaica is a paradise, and we are going to continue to fight to have that paradise, right? Right now, what is happening, right? Just a matter of time, but we are going to show Andrew Honest that we are resilient, right? And we talk about, we believe in the God of Jacob, the God of Abraham, the God of Daniel, right? The God of Israel. Israel God is indeed God. And we are saying that we put all of our hopes and trust in the Almighty God, who is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. He is the one we serve, and he is going to deliver us from out of the hands of evil. Trust me when we say that. All right? So let me just give Wifey the privilege to close us out. Wifey?
Okay, bless up everyone, and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate each and everyone continued support as usual. So walk good and safe travel on the gravel until tomorrow. Bless up. One love.
So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable and stop making excuses for them.